Hello guys, this is part 3 of What If You Were Reborn as Kakashi. Hope you enjoy, like and subscribe for more. Chapter 41, Flying Thunder God Jutsu. Anbu is the short of Ansatsu Senjutsu Takushu Butai, which means Special Assassination and Tactical Squad, was established by Nidaime Hokage. At the beginning, their most important function was to protect the Hokage and defend against foreign enemies. When they execute mission, they will hide their identity with a white animal mask. The work of Anbu is boring and full of blood, and the mission is also not easy at all. Of course, they still need to get the trust of Hokage. Speaking of this, there are now two types of Anbu. One is Anbu, which belongs only to Hokage, and the other belongs to the route that Danzo lead. Of course, they never get on each other's ways, but they also never help each other. After all, the conflict between Danzo and the Sandaime is not a secret for the village's top people. Anbu Great Hall is the base of Anbu that belong only to Hokage. Kakashi is no stranger of this place, although he has not been here since he was reborn, but the previous Kakashi was a frequent visitor here. The Anbu who had previously teamed up with Kakashi had died in the Kyubi's attack, so Sandaime arranged new teammates for Kakashi this time. And Kakashi also know his new teammates. After all, those three people were always next to the Minato. Kakashi, who was Minato's disciple, naturally has met them before. When Kakashi came to Anbu Great Hall, it was still looked the same as he remembered, and then he started to look for his new teammates. At this time, there are not a lot of people, so Kakashi recognized their location after looking for a while. When Kakashi arrived, the three also saw Kakashi. "Hey Kakashi, you're late. We have waited for a long time now," Yamato said as they walked to Kakashi's location. "Sorry, I just got the news." Kakashi hearing this was embarrassed. After all, the original Kakashi is also always late, and used strange reason. Now that he's late again, he needs to apologize. "Well, since that is the case, let's go ahead and execute the mission." "Okay, but what is the mission?" Kakashi asked curiously. "Nothing much, it is just some daily missions. We need to go to the border of the Land of Fire and the Land of Lighting to see the situation and get the latest information of the border defense from the security personnel there." Among the three, Yamato is the oldest. At the same time, he is also a very calm person, so he is the one who conveyed the mission. "Oh, okay then. Are we going now?" Kakashi asked. "Don't be so anxious, there is an hour to prepare. After an hour, we then gather at the gate of the village. Do you get it?" "Got it." "Okay, disband." Yamato and the other two then leave. Kakashi also go back to his home to prepare the necessary things. He then put all of his things inside the seal. He then takes out a bag from inside his room. That bag looks like it never had been opened for a long time. He then takes out something from inside the bag. Then Kakashi is feeling melancholy after seeing this. "Minato-sensei," Kakashi whispered while stroking the kunai that Minato has gifted to him. Flying Thunder God technique is a very strong ninjutsu. Every person who masters Flying Thunder God technique will be known as the fastest shinobi, and they will become a sign of the enemy's death. Flying Thunder God technique can be used to reach its seal location, and the seal will never disappear. This terrifying space ninjutsu, to a certain extent, is more terrifying than Kamui. This technique contains a very profound space theory. Even if Kakashi has extraordinary ninjutsu talent, he is still confused by it. Minato is not a petty person. He even teaches his platoon guard the Flying Thunder God technique. Of course, he will also teach Kakashi about it. It was only that at that time, Kakashi was struggling with the darkness in his heart, so Minato wait for him to be better before he teach him. It was just not expected that Minato would die, and he's not able to teach him that jutsu. It's really a shame that no one has mastered the jutsu again. Even Genma, Raito, and Iwasi can only work together to use it, and it is also not the real Flying Thunder God technique. Perhaps only Nidaime Hokage and Minato are the ones who managed to master this ninjutsu. Kakashi thought of this, could not help but feel a little emotional as he gently touches the kunai. What? Suddenly, Kakashi found that something is wrong. This kunai was supposed to be cold. How could it feel warm? Kakashi looked at it and found out that it wasn't from the kunai, but it was from the seal. The seal is actually feels warm, and there is also a faint chakra's flow from there. This is chakra of Minato. Kakashi was surprised. After all, Minato had passed away. It was amazing that his chakra could still flow inside here. Then he suddenly realized, if there is no trace of chakra from Minato, how can he know and teleport to the specific location? It's really a terrifying ninjutsu. Even if the Minato-sensei has passed away, the seal still plays it can be used. It is no wonder that in the original work, Minato-sensei, who is being resurrected by Ito-tensei, can still use the seal he left behind. Seeing the seal is a bit warm, Kakashi has a desire to find out what kind of secret does this terrifying space ninjutsu have. And since he wants to understand it, it is natural to take a good look with his eyes. Then, Sharingan. Kakashi opened his headband to reveal the Sharingan that had been sealed for a long time. Three black tomo and the scarlet pupils kept turning, and Sharingan's observation is being used to the extreme by Kakashi. The purpose is to take a look at the secret of this Flying Thunder God technique. The ceiling it is not enough. Ordinary Sharingan won't be able to look at this jutsu's secret, it looks like I have to use it. Mangekyou Sharingan. The three black Tomo instantly merge into one, to form a black dart shape. Kakashi instantly felt that the inside of his left eye is greatly improved, but his chakra is consumed at a terrifying pace. What a terrifying ninjutsu, there are so many complicated secrets hidden in this seal. Under Mangekyou's insight, Kakashi finally saw the tip of the iceberg of Flying Thunder God technique, but this tip of the iceberg made Kakashi couldn't help but feel awed. No wonder that after Minato, no one was able to master this space ninjutsu. This technique is really complicated and hard to understand. Only a true genius like Minato can master this technique easily. Just as Kakashi thinking about this, his left eye suddenly start to change, and the black dart's pattern began to turn. He feels some kind of formidable suction at his left eye, and the seal from the kunai was directly sucked by Kakashi's left eye. This, Kakashi, who has witnessed all this, can't understand what is going on right now. Chapter 42 Border. Closing his left eye, Kakashi felt that there was something else in his original scarlet eye. And that thing is the special seal of Flying Thunder God technique. Mangekyou Sharingan actually sucked the seal technique. What is going on here? Kakashi couldn't understand what happened. After all, Flying Thunder God technique has nothing to do with Mangekyou. Wait, maybe it has anything to do with his Mangekyou. Kakashi's Mangekyou is from Obito, while Obito's Mangekyou has space-type skill, and Flying Thunder God technique is also the space-type ninjutsu. Is it the resonance between these two similar space-type techniques? Kakashi can't think of any other reason, but he knows that he can only guess for now. After all, there seems to be no similarity between them except the space ability. After resealing his Sharingan, Kakashi felt that there were some obscure techniques in his mind that were constantly flowing. Kakashi then feels happy. After all, that is the Flying Thunder God technique. Kakashi suppressed the excitement of his heart. He didn't expect there is a trait of Flying Thunder God technique to let him learn this kind of ninjutsu. It was really a very good luck. But soon, Kakashi's excitement is gone. The reason is very simple. Kakashi found that the procedures to learn are so difficult, maybe it will take 2 or 3 years for him to fully understand it, and to master this, he may need at least 5 years. Most importantly, Flying Thunder God technique has extremely strict requirements to have great reflex. Kakashi's reflex is good, but to reach the level of using Flying Thunder God technique, it is still not enough. It looks like he needs to practice it. At least he needs Minato's level of reflex to really master the Flying Thunder God technique. After thinking about this, Kakashi knows that he will be able to use this technique after 5 or 6 years. 5 or 6 years. It is good enough. Kakashi clenched his fist and feels a little excited. He didn't expect to get this ninjutsu so soon. Kakashi muttered, "Minato-sensei, is this all your arrangement?" Kakashi quickly stopped his drifting thoughts, and put the kunai back into the bag. This is the only thing Minato has left for Kakashi, and Kakashi will not discard it, even if it is just an ordinary kunai now. Packing up all his things, Kakashi then left his house, and go to the gate of the village. This time, Kakashi estimates that it will take a lot of time to complete this mission. After all, the border is not close to here. Even if they are running at full speed, it will take at least 5 days to get there. Soon, Kakashi finally arrived at the gate, and the 3 of his teammates had already waited here. "Kakashi, you are so slow," Genma complained. However, Kakashi is not late yet, and there is still 1 minute until their meeting time. It's just that these 3 has been here for half an hour, so they already wait for a while. Kakashi was almost late, because of the recent Flying Thunder God technique incident. If not because of this, he will be already arrived earlier. "Sorry, I will pay attention next time." Genma still wants to say something, but Raito interjects him. "It's okay, you're not late, we are the one who arrived too early." Hearing what Raito said, Genma is a little embarrassed. After all, Kakashi is indeed not late. And Iwashi, who was on the side, did not say anything. Kakashi in the original work is always late, but he was always punctual when it is about a mission. After all, mission is very important. If he is late, it is likely to cause the mission to fail. Kakashi will not be playing around about it. "Well, because everyone is here, let's go then." Raito then said. Everyone had no opinion, so they start moving. Among the 4, Raito is the oldest as he is 16 years old. Genma is about the same age as Kakashi, about 14. Iwashi is the youngest, as he is 13 years old. At that time, Minato was in charge of cultivating his own force, so the selected Anbu was not very old, but had great potential. Most importantly, many are not children of the big clan. For example, these 3 people are all civilians, so it is great that they were recognized by Minato. Unfortunately, Minato has not yet cultivated them and died. However, their ability to enter Anbu shows that the strength of these 3 people should not be underestimated. It's just that they are still young, so their strength is not high. If they fight now, Kakashi can knock all these people down alone. After all, not everyone is Kakashi. At a young age, his strength is almost a cage level. Having that said, Kakashi at this time is stronger than the original Kakashi. Of course, this is because he includes the Mangekyo Sharingan. After all, with Kamui as his trump card, his strength is doubled. If he didn't use Sharingan, then he can't win against the original, but he also won't lose. After all, they have 12 years gap. Of course no one knows if that is the truth. After all, Kakashi can't fight against the original. The four men wear their Anbu's mask and start to jump between the trees. Kakashi is looking curiously at all around the forest. After all, these trees were said to have been made by the Showdown Hokage, Hashirama Senju. What kind of terrifying might need it is to create this miracle? It's really frightening to think about it. After all, he is the man who's called the god of shinobi. 5 days later, the four men finally arrive at the border of the land of fire and the land of lighting. We finally arrive. It is really exhausting. Raito stood on a big tree and looked into the distance. At the same time, he is also complaining. After all, they're still teenagers, and they are all tired after 5 days of moving. Kakashi doesn't feel anything. After all, he has already experienced such a journey before. On the way here, Kakashi got a lot of harvest. These three have been taught by Minato. Although they don't know enough about Flying Thunder God technique, they still remember about what Minato said. So Kakashi used the excuse of exchanging their understanding about Flying Thunder God technique to discuss it with these three people. He also learned from their mouth how Minato explained the Flying Thunder God technique. These three people did not doubt Kakashi. After all, Kakashi is a Yondame's disciple. It is not surprising for him to learn Flying Thunder God technique. Minato even taught them directly about it, so it is not surprising if he teach his own disciple too. In addition, they also saw that Kakashi did have an in-depth understanding of Flying Thunder God technique, but what they did not know is that Kakashi's knowledge of Flying Thunder God technique has just been learned by him. However, Kakashi also knows why Minato didn't teach all of the people he knew about this skill. Because Flying Thunder God technique can be learned easily, otherwise, if such technique is learned by all of Konoha's shinobi, no one can defeat Konoha anymore. Flying Thunder God technique has very high requirement for the practitioners. Minato knows that with these three people's latent talents, they probably won't be able to use Flying Thunder God technique even in all their life, but they can still use it together. This is also a way to increase the relationship between the three of them. Chapter 43 Watchtower. Kakashi ignored Raito's complaints, then stand on a big tree, and looked at the tower in the distance. It is Konoha's border defense base. There are dozens of shinobis stationed there to detect other countries' movement. If there is an enemy invasion, they will send this information to Konoha as fast as they can to let Konoha's top management get ready for the invasion. This work is boring and dull, so the member usually changes after 1 year. Because the people are bored in here, the 1-year scheduling period is very suitable. This time Kakashi and the others came here not to change with them, but to bring things back information from here, and at the same time also send some supplies to this tower. It is precisely because of this that it needs 4 of them to come over. If it was just for information, they can just use eagle or other animal. It is not needed for people to come here. It seems that is our destination, Kakashi said. The remaining 3 nodded after hearing Kakashi. Yes, but it is the first time I come here. This tower is said to have been established 10 years ago. Raito looked at the tower in the distance as he touched the mask on his face. Let's go finish the mission, then we can go back. Okay. The 4 people then moved toward the tower. The tower is very tall, almost 50 meters high, and because of its height, it is easier to see the surrounding. Not long after, Kakashi's group arrives at the tower entrance. Who's there? The guarding shinobi noticed at the moment Kakashi and the others appeared near them. Although Kakashi's groups are wearing Anbu's clothes, they still need to wear it. After all, enemy can also disguise as Anbu. Raito didn't say anything and directly take the letter from Sandame. Sandame-sama has orders for you to bring the recent information to me, and I will bring them back to Konoha. We also come here to bring your 3 months of supplies. Gemma said that as he bring out some seals from his inventory, and the seals were filled with food and various daily necessities for the dozens of people for the next 3 months. The 3 shinobis guard hearing this one nod. Recently the food in the tower is starting to get low. If there is no supply coming here, they can only hunt in this surrounding area. However, these 3 shinobi did not lose their wariness, but took over the Hokage's letter from the hands of Raito. After careful inspection, they finally confirmed that they are the real Anbu and finally relaxed. Sorry for the trouble, please enter the tower then. One of the middle-aged shinobi returned the Hokage's letter to Raito. Then they guide Kakashi's group into the tower. Kakashi, Genma, and Iwashi then looked at Raito. This time, Raito is captain, so they need to follow Raito's order. Let's go then. Raito also did not let them wait too long, and directly gave his order. They need to get the information from inside the tower. After all, even if they are still at the land of fire, they are now near the border. It is dangerous to get the information when they are still outside. So they did not hesitate and followed the 3 guarding shinobi into the tower. The interior of the tower is large, and the Great Hall alone is enough to accommodate thousands of people. After all, this tower was used as a base camp during wartime, so of course the structure is good. It was also the first time Kakashi comes here, and he is very curious about everything in front of him, but Kakashi's face is hidden under the mask, so the others can't see Kakashi's expression. The reason why Anbu need to wear a mask is not only to hide their identity, but it is to hide their expression. Shinobi should be always calm. But there are so many shinobi on this world, there will always be some of them who are impulsive. There are no impulsive shinobi in Anbu department. After all, if they are impulsive, they not only bring danger to themselves, but also to their entire team, or even the entire Anbu department. This is absolutely not allowed. Therefore, people who are impulsive and brainless cannot enter Anbu. The 3 guarding shinobi quickly lead Kakashi's group to the conference room, and there have been more than a dozen shinobi waiting there. Kakashi took a closer look, and see the leader eyes are pure white. It was the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan. It seems that he is Hyuga clan's branch house member. It is not surprising for Kakashi to see a Hyuga clan's member in this place. After all, Hyuga clan is one of the best scouts in Konoha. It's impossible for Hyuga clan's main house member to be here. The reason is very simple. It is too dangerous here. If the Land of Lighting launches an attack, this place will bear the brunt of it, and this place may be destroyed. The Hyuga clan won't let main house member to take the risk. This is the Hyuga Tobio, he is the captain here. The middle-aged shinobi said as he pointing toward the Hyuga clan's member. Raito then nodded and said, "Hello Tobio Dono, we are in the Hokage-sama Anbu. We're here to transport some supplies. At the same time we also need to bring the latest information back to Konoha. I hope Tobio Dono can help us about this." Hyuga Tobio then looked at these 4. It's strange, he did not expect Sandame to send such a young team to bring back the information. The oldest one may not be more than 17 years old. Is it really okay for such a team to bring back the information? This little brother, did Sandame-sama only send you 4 here? Yes. Although Raito did not understand why the Hyuga Tobio asked this question, he still replied very sincerely. Little brother, the information this time is very important. It's not that I don't believe in your strength, but I am really afraid there will be some trouble on the way back. So I will send 2 people to go back with you. Hyuga Tobio is not at ease, if only this young team go, so he decided to send 2 jonin to follow them back, and to protect them. And having 2 less jonin here will not have much impact. However, the good intentions of the Hyuga Tobio are obviously unacceptable, at least for Genma and Raito. Both of them are still young, and at the same time they were also scouted by the Yandame Hokage. Although they are young, they still have their own pride. Although Hyuga Tobio did not say that he looks down on them, the arrangement he made was obviously because he didn't believe in their strength. This makes both the same and the mysterious. Tobio-san, please believe in our strength, we will be able to send the information back to Konoha safely. Raito said as people could hear some dissatisfaction in his tone. This, Hyuga Tobio hesitated, he was really afraid that there could be accident happen. How about this, if you can beat that man, I will let you transport the information by yourself. Raito and the others' eyes then looked at the man pointed by the Hyuga Tobio. They see the man has burly figure, wearing a dark red clothes, and also wearing Konoha's green vest. But most importantly, there is a kanji that means food on his clothes. He is an Akamichi clan's member. Chapter 44 Suppress. It looks like we're really underestimated. Raito then take out his sword and is ready to fight. The person that Hyuga Tobio refers to is Akamichi Kaise, a jonin. He is close combat expert, he has great power, and he is also one of the strongest shinobi in the tower. It can be seen that the Hyuga Tobio is really not assured about Kakashi's group, so that he sends such a character to fight them. Akamichi Kaise then stood up and said, "This place is too small, we should go outside to do the match." Alright. Everyone hearing this then starts to run to outside the tower. Kakashi didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Isn't this just a simple mission? What is happening now? Shaking his head, Kakashi still followed after them. After all, he is now with Raito's team, he naturally shouldn't be separated from them. Soon after, everyone came out to an open space outside the tower. Of course, the battle is still now starting. The rule is simple. As long as the 4 of you can beat Akamichi Kaise, I will then recognize that you have the ability to bring back the information. But if you can't, 2 jonin will follow you to bring back the information to the village. Do you understand? Of course I understand. Raito then took the lead. Kakashi is now looking strangely at Raito. After all, Raito should be a calm person. Why was he so easily provoked today? This kind of provocation should not make Raito angry usually. And Kakashi can see that the Hyuga Tobio is not provocating them, he is just considering the intelligent security. Kakashi believes that Raito can also understand it too. After all, he was a person whom Minato teacher values, and he is still worthy of recognition in Kakashi's mind. So how can he is like this now? You 3 don't need to step in, I can solve it alone. Raito suddenly said so, making those 3 a bit stunned. Why did this guy want to go alone? Raito's strength is good, but it is only for a chunin. There is still a big gap between him and a jonin. Kakashi looks at the fighting intent and excitement in Raito's eyes, and suddenly realize that this guy was intentionally doing this. His purpose is to fight against these jonin. Kakashi is speechless. This guy's scheme is really terrifying, just because of a bit word from Hyuga Tobio, and he wants to challenge jonin to prove himself. Kakashi then looked at the other, and they did not refuse the request of Raito. Then they stepped back. Kaisei was a bit uncomfortable seeing this and said, "Brat, are you really fighting against me alone? Did you overestimate yourself? Hey, we don't know until we try it." Raito said as he tightens the grip of his sword. Apparently he was not as calm as he said. Raito knows that his strength has a big gap against a jonin, but he wants to see how big the gap is. Raito's pride is high, and after his team is underestimated, he of course can't accept it. In fact, Raito knows that getting Kakashi to fight is the best choice, and chance of winning is higher than if he fights himself. After all, Kakashi is the only jonin in their team. This time, the reason that Raito is the captain instead of Kakashi is because Raito knows more about this mission. So it is better if he's the one who is leading. Only after this mission, that Kakashi will become captain. But at this time, Raito is the one leading the team. Since he is leading the team, Raito does not allow his team to be underestimated. Well, since you insist on it, then I will comply. Don't blame me if you are injured. The people of the Akimichi clan are usually very gentle, so Kaisei doesn't want to fight him alone. But he still respects Raito's decision. The cold winds start to blow the leaf on the ground and then, partial multi-size technique. Kaisei start the first move, and his two hands suddenly became huge, and start to move toward Raito's direction. Fast. Kaisei secretly thought, but he doesn't stop and start to slash his sword toward Kaisei's arm, seems to want to slice Kaisei's hands. Bang. Raito seemed to have hit an iron wall and were quickly bounced off. The Akimichi clan will use chakra to wrap their body when using the multi-size technique. How can he be pierced by a small sword? It is obvious that Raito's attack has little effect on Kaisei's hands, so in the next moment Raito sheathed his sword and formed hand seals using his hands. Earth release. Earth-style wall. The semicircular earth wall suddenly rises from the ground, blocking Kaisei's hands, but Kaisei's hands have not been delayed for even a second before it destroyed the earth wall. Kaisei's strength is really strong. Raito did not expect that this earth wall to be destroyed without even be able to block Kaisei's attack. Fortunately, Raito immediately left after he uses the earth release, otherwise, Raito at this time may have been seriously injured by Kaisei's attack. Raito wiped the sweat that did not exist, and his mood was a bit heavy. The gap is too big. Kaisei's attack has just crushes the confidence of Raito, but now that the battle has started, unless he's injured Raito will never admit defeat, his pride does not allow him to surrender without doing anything. Kakashi shook his head after seeing this, and he already knew that Raito will lose this match. Akimichi Kaisei's strength is far stronger than Raito's. But looking at Raito who's not going to give up. Kakashi sighed and prepared to rescue him. He didn't want someone to be injured here. After all, it would affect the time to return to the village. Time is very valuable for Kakashi. Earth release. Earth flow spears. After Raito said it, spikes suddenly protrude from the ground at Kaisei's location. Kaisei seeing this then starts to surge his chakra. Human bullet tank. Kaisei's body suddenly swelled up, and then he retracts his arms, legs, and head into his body, and he turned into a big meatball. Then, the meatball frantically turned, and all spikes that is protruding is destroyed. However, Kaisei did not stop, the rotation did not stop, but start to move towards Raito by rolling over. So fast. Raito just wanted to run, but he was too slow. Raito's pupils then shrank. I'm finished. I can't dodge it. Kaisei, stop. Hyuga Tobio who saw this scene then shout, he knew if it hits Raito, Raito will have a serious injury. Seriously injuring Anbu sent by Hokage is a crime that Tobio or Kaisei can't afford. It is a pity that Kaisei can't hear Tobio's shout. While rotating like this, Kaisei can only roughly sense the position of the target by his perception. And he can't hear his surroundings. He's finished. This is the thought in everyone's mind. But there is still one person who step up at this time. Earth release, Earth-style wall. Chapter 45 Akimichi clan. The stone wall rises again, but the person who makes it this time is not Raito but Kakashi. After Kaisei's chariot hit the stone wall, it gradually stopped rotating, while leaving a hole. After seeing this, Kaisei finally found that he almost seriously injured Raito. Hyuga Tobio looks at the stone wall that stops Kaisei in shock. It was actually blocked. It was the same ninjutsu that Raito had used, but when Raito's jutsu was not able to stop Kaisei's attack, Kakashi's jutsu was able to stop Kaisei's human bullet tank. Tobio then looked at Kakashi, and Kakashi right now is wearing his mask. But that mask was useless in front of Tobi. After all, he has the Byakugan. Under Byakugan sight, Kakashi's face is exposed. Tobio is even more shocked after seeing this. This boy is only 14 years old, but his chakra reserve is a lot bigger than me. And his left eye has a seal, although I don't know what is that seal, but it is extremely interesting. Feeling that someone is peeping on him, Kakashi turned his head and looked at his peeper. Tobio immediately stopped using his Byakugan. After all, spying on others is not a commendable thing, let alone spying on his companion. No one likes the feeling of being peeped, unless he is abnormal. Kakashi coldly glanced at the Tobio, and Tobio unexpectedly felt a cold sweat. What an imposing manner. Tobio was shocked. He didn't expect Kakashi to have such a terrifying imposing manner. Tobio also finally understand why Sandaime let these 4 people to bring back the intelligence. Kakashi then stopped looking at Tobio and turned his head to look at Kaise. Senpai, I'm sorry for my intrusion just now. Kakashi removed the earth wall and stood in front of Raigo. Kakashi, Raido, you should heal your ankle. Leave the rest to me. Kakashi turned back with a smile, but because he is wearing a mask, no one can see it. Okay, sorry for troubling you. Although he doesn't accept it, Raido knows that his combat power has been greatly affected. Before, when he was at his prime, he was not an opponent to Kaise. Now that he is hurt, he won't be able to win. Look at the earth wall that disappeared just now, and Raido's emotion is kind of mixed. Even when they used the same ninjutsu, Raido did not think that his gap with Kakashi would be so big. Although he knows that Kakashi became a Jonin 2 years ago, Raido is still older than Kakashi. Originally, he thought their gap is not that big. But now after seeing it, he understands that their gap is huge. With a bitter smile, Raido began to understand that this world really has genius. Thank you for your help, boy, or I will make a big mistake just now. Kaise reveals a smile. With his fat face, he leave a good impression. No, he is my companion, this is what I should do. Hahaha, right, it's important to protect your companions. I agree with you, boy. Kaise laughed heartily, apparently agreed with Kakashi's words. At the same time, he also has good impression about Kakashi. Konoha's shinobi is mostly a peace-loving person who cherishes their companions. This is a will that has been passed down from the early generation. It is this emotion that makes Konoha prosperous. Unfortunately, Konoha has Danzo, which has made a lot of internal conflict. From being the strongest of the 5 great ninja village, Konoha has fallen to the present level. It's not hard to find that basically almost all the tragedies in Naruto world are happened because of Danzo. Kakashi doesn't know what kind of contribution this person has made to Konoha. For whatever reason, Danzo just stays silent while knowing that the village is in crisis. Danzo did not just do it once or twice. The Kyubi's attacks, Orochimaru's Konoha crush plan and Pain's attacks. Almost every time Konoha has trouble, Danzo never helped protect the village. And sometimes Danzo even helps the enemy when they attack Konoha. Although there is always someone who says that Danzo has helped Konoha do a lot of things in the dark, Danzo is just a guy who is doing that for his own ambitions to control Konoha. He always says something he thinks is right, standing at the higher morality to condemn those who do not agree with his own views. He always said that people who don't agree with him are evil. If he becomes the one in power, there would be no peace. In short, most of the Konoha ninja is still very passionate about peace and companionship. Then senpai, let's get started now. Kaise did not immediately agree, but looked at the Tobio. Tobio nodded, apparently agreed to this. In fact, Tobio has agreed to let Kakashi bring back the information, but he is still very curious about Kakashi's strength, so he wants to see it by doing the match. There is no conspiracy, it's just because of curiosity. Kaise didn't think so much. The people of Akamichi clan are kind and simple, and they are not stupid. So when Kaise got the instructions from Tobio, Kaise knew what to do. Well boy, let's start then. Kakashi nodded and also looked at Tobio. Kakashi understands what this guy is thinking. But if he wants to test his strength, Kaise won't be enough. Kakashi sneered. He did not use the Millennium, and he also did not use his Sharingan. Since he is fortunate enough to fight against Akamichi clan, how could he not fight them with Taijutsu? The Taijutsu of Akamichi clan and the Taijutsu of the Hyuga clan are extremely good. The Hyuga clan's Taijutsu is to hit the enemy's Tenketsu points, and the Akamichi clan's Taijutsu pursues overwhelming physical strength. Kakashi is now fighting against Kaise, who is using multi-size technique. He doesn't know if his Taijutsu will be enough to him or not. Partial multi-size technique. Right foot. Kakashi's right eye shines when he sees this. This power is really unmatchable. Although Kakashi is quite confident about his physical strength, Kakashi has no confidence to win by only relying on his physical strength. The only one who can defeat this kind of physical strength is Tsunade. Since he is not powerful to beat it, he just needs to dodge it. Just when Kaise's right foot was about to hit Kakashi, Kakashi dodged to the side. Then Kakashi starts accelerating towards Kaise's location. At this time, Kaise's right foot had not come back yet. So he can't respond against Kakashi's speed. Kakashi's then whispered, "It's too slow." After arriving at Kaise's location, Kakashi punched Kaise at his jaw. Chapter 46 Easy Victory. Boom. Kakashi's fist slammed straight into Kaise's jaw, and the terrifying power from Kakashi's fist directly makes Kaise's body flew off. Kaise's body was punched into the air by Kakashi, but Kakashi did not stop there. Kakashi uses Shunpo, and then his Kakashi instantly disappeared. When he appeared again, he was already behind Kaisei. In the midair, Kaisei can't move anywhere. Although he saw Kakashi behind him, he couldn't counter him, and can only guard against Kakashi's attack. Leaf Barrage. Leaf Barrage was a taijutsu skill created by Kakashi, according to Sasuke's Lion combo in the original work. Both skills are originated from Gai's taijutsu. Kakashi then starts to barrage Kaisei with his attack and smash him down. With a bang, Kaisei's body then dropped down the ground and create a crater. However, it is still not over yet. Kakashi turned around in the air, and his right foot then flew toward Kaisei. Ah! There was a scream from Kaisei, when Kakashi's right foot directly kicks his belly. Kakashi then jumped 3 meters away after this. Sorry, it seems that I won. All the audience was shocked. Taijutsu. It turned out Kakashi is only using taijutsu. He only uses 3 strikes in this fight. His move is unpredictable, and his terrifying speed and strength are actually making a jonin like Kaisei unable to respond. His grasp on the fighting rhythm is really accurate. It is a terrifying level. Raito, Genma, and Iwashi are even more shocked. They know Kakashi better. They know that Kakashi's strongest forte is not taijutsu buninjutsu. However, right now Kakashi has defeated a jonin with only taijutsu. Then what about his real strength? The people present couldn't help but to swallow their saliva. And they look at Kakashi with respect. After all, people who are stronger are respected. Tobio didn't think Kakashi actually defeated Kaisei. Although Kaisei is weaker than Tobio, but Tobio can't easily beat Kaisei. Therefore, although he still couldn't accept it, Tobio has to admit that this silver-haired boy is much more powerful than he imagined, even more powerful than himself. Thinking of this, Tobio showed a bitter smile. This boy is really a genius. When I'm his age I only have chunin strength. Boy, you are really strong. This time I no longer object you to finish the mission yourself. Thank you very much. At this time, Kaisei start to stand up. After all, they are from the same village, so Kakashi didn't have used too much power. Although his kick seemed to be out of the ordinary, Kakashi was actually holding back his strength. So if it looks powerful, in fact, Kaisei did not suffer much damage, and just feels some pain. The pain is also almost gone by now. Kaisei looks at his own big belly, and the fat on it also effectively resisted Kakashi's kick. Hey, it hurts me, little boy, you really are hurting me. Hearing Kaisei complaints, Kakashi just smiled and said, I can't help it. This little injury is nothing, but you are really powerful. Your taijutsu actually got to this point, I really admired. Kaisei said with a straightforward attitude. As an Akamichi clan, Kaisei's taijutsu is not weak. The reason why Kakashi can defeat him so quickly this time was because Kaisei had underestimated Kakashi. So when he saw Kakashi move so fast, Kaisei couldn't react at all. If Kaisei is serious, even if he lost, he wouldn't be defeated so fast. But losing is losing, and Kaisei is not the kind of person who will make excuses for his loss. Besides, Kaisei thinks that losing to his own companion is not a shameful thing. Akamichi clan is really full of kind people. Thank you for your praise, senpai. Haha, what senpai? Just call me Kaisei. Kaisei said as he laughs. He felt closeness with Kakashi. Kakashi did not refuse and called, Kaisei senpai. Hey, why you are still calling me senpai? Kaisei, don't make trouble, you are older than him, so he couldn't help but to call you senpai. Tobio couldn't help but scream at Kaisei. Tobio couldn't help but feels embarrassed after seeing Kaisei like that. Oh, okay. Kaisei touched his own hair and smiled embarrassedly. Kakashi didn't care about this, and turned his attention toward Tobio. Tobio senpai, can you give us the information now? No problem, this is the information this time. Tobio then said as he took a roll of scroll from his back pocket and threw it to Kakashi. Kakashi took it, and checked the special mark on it. After confirming it, he put it in his pocket. Thank you very much Tobio senpai, then we will leave now. Tobio and the others didn't try to ask them stay here. After all, the sooner this information is sent back to Konoha, the better. Okay, you guys need to be careful on the way. We will pay attention. Kakashi said, and then he walks back to Raito's group. Raito's injury is already healed, after all it is just a small injury. Seeing that Kakashi solved the problem cleanly and neatly, the eyes of the 3 people looking at Kakashi could not help but be a little weird. There's a bit of envy, a bit of awkwardness, and some admiration. As the person who is almost the same age as them, Kakashi has already walked in front of them, and he has gone far away. Those 3 almost could not see Kakashi's back anymore. Kakashi took the scroll out and handed it Raito. Raito, for you. Raito did not take it. He shook his head and said, you should take it. Kakashi said, you are the captain. You have the strongest strength, and it is safest to put it there. Okay, what you said is very reasonable. Then I will not refute you. Kakashi then put the scroll back into his own pocket. Let's go. Okay. The 4 then start to move back to the village. Shinobi is like this, coming and going in a hurry. Many times, they were not able to appreciate the scenery. Perhaps, after reaching Jiraiya's and the others' level, only then they would be able to see the wonderfulness of this world. Tobio looks at Kakashi's direction, and couldn't help but to reveal a smile. He's really a great young man. I couldn't wait to see how much stronger he become 10 years later. Chapter 47 3 years. Konoha's underground, the base of Root. In a dark and secret room, a serious old man holding a cane is listening to a shinobi's report. You mean that Kakashi actually defeat Akimichi Kaisei by only using Taijutsu? The tone of the old man was a little surprised, but still did not block the gloom of his voice. Yes, Danzo-sama. That's right, this person is Danzo, the darkness of Konoha. I understand, you can go. That shinobi then disappeared after hearing that. Danzo's left eye is closed and seems to be thinking about something. After a while, Danzo sighed, and a gloomy voice quietly sounded in the secret room. Had Kakashi. I didn't expect you to have reached this point. You really are Sakumo's son. But for the time being, I don't need to take care of him. Right now, the Uchiha clan is more important. Then he starts to leave the dark room after saying this. Kakashi, who has returned to the village, doesn't know that he has been noticed by Danzo. If he knows, Kakashi may not really sleep well this evening. The mission is going smoothly, there was no trouble on their way back, and Kakashi's group is back to Konoha safely. Sandaime frowned after seeing the information from the border. Then he tells Kakashi and the other to go back now. Kakashi did not ask much. After all, he is still not suitable for entering the political circle. If he has time to care about this kind of thing, it is better for him to use it for training. After completing the mission, Kakashi can finally start his training again. Feeling that his strength is strengthening every day, Kakashi's workout is getting harder and harder. In order to increase his strength from his workout, Kakashi even borrowed the weight from Guy. However, the weight kind of heavy for him. After all, his physical power is weaker than Guy. Kakashi is wearing the weight when he did not go out to do mission, and when he is going to do some mission, he will take off the weight. After all, Anbu's mission is very dangerous. If because of the weight he lost your life, it will be really embarrassing. After all, training should be done in an orderly manner. Right now, Kakashi has slowly adapting to his new life of this world, and also his work in Anbu. Anbu's life can be said to be very boring. After all, almost all of Anbu's mission is about killing people. Originally Kakashi is loath this kind of thing, but gradually he starts getting used to it. He doesn't know if it is because of the habit of the original body, or that he is used to it after he done it for a while. Unknowingly, Kakashi has been in this world for 3 years. After 3 years, Kakashi is now 17 years old. During the past 3 years, Kakashi's strength has made great progress. For the 8 gates technique, he finally be able to open up to the 5th gate, which was a little faster than expected. Of course, the amount of effort he had done was overwhelming. The Flying Thunder God Jutsu is still under study, although he still can't use it, he already understand the basic of this technique. Now he just need to slowly mastering it. Flying Thunder God Jutsu is not only about studying the seal, but more importantly, it needs a certain degree of sensitivity to space, and this kind of thing is a very mysterious thing. It can't be explained in words. Unfortunately, Kakashi doesn't have such a strong talent for this. But for Kakashi who owns Kamui, he may be able to understand it after using Kamui a few times. It's just that Kakashi hasn't used Kamui even once. It's because there's no mission that needs him to use it, so he never used Kamui at all. Right now, Kakashi is still trying to find another solution. If there is no other solution, only then he will use Kamui. Kakashi's position in Anbu now is also not low. Kakashi's strength allows him to become one of the experts in Anbu. He was also personally appointed by Sandaime to become the Anbu's small team leader. The team is composed of 3 Anbu teams, including 3 captains and 12 Anbu members, for a total of 15 people. Although the position is not that high, it fully demonstrates the trust Sandaime in Kakashi. At the same time, it also allowed Kakashi to master some small forces. Let's talk about Anbu's rank system here. From low to high are Anbu members, Anbu's squad captain, Anbu's small team leader, and Anbu commander. On this day, Kakashi came to the Hokage office with other Anbu, as they had just completed an assassination mission. Sandaime-sama, the mission was successfully completed, this is mission's report. After Kakashi handed the recorded scroll to Sandaime, he retreated to the side. Sandaime nodded satisfactorily, took the scroll and looked at it carefully. Not long after, Sandaime put down the scroll, and then he reveals a smile and said, "Good job. Thank you for the compliment, Sandaime-sama," Kakashi said humbly. Sandaime looks at Kakashi who is now 17 years old. He can't help but feel happy. In the past 3 years, Kakashi has changed a lot. His original gloomy attitude has completely disappeared. Although he is not lively and cheerful, it is better than before. And his strength's growth is even more obvious. According to the description from other Anbu that is doing the mission with Kakashi, Kakashi's sword technique is very good, his lightning release is better, and his taijutsu is equally good. Almost all of the mission's targets are assassinated by Kakashi easily. It is this terrifying strength that makes Kakashi's reputation in Anbu rose. Looking at the silver-haired boy in front of him, Sandaime couldn't help but nostalgic, as if he was seeing the familiar figure. The same silver hair, the same outstanding sword skill, and the same strong lightning release. But soon, Sandaime starts to recover. Except Kakashi, you all can go back first. Sandaime suddenly said. Then the Anbu who came with Kakashi starts to leave the office. What are your orders, Sandaime-sama? Kakashi has some doubts. He had just finished mission, so why Sandaime is asking him to do something. I'm sorry, Kakashi, although you just finished mission, but this time I can't let you go to rest. It's like this, some Anbu found a secret base of Orochimaru, so I want you to go there and investigate what it is the situation. After all, you're the most suitable candidate to do it. Kakashi frowned and asked, only by myself? Yes, only by yourself. If you have more people, it will bind your hands and feet. I understand, Sandaime-sama. This is the mission scroll, you should go as soon as possible. Yes, Sandaime-sama. Chapter 48 Laboratory. At the root base, Danzo touched his right eye that was covered by the bandage. Oh, this Sharingan sure enough, should I find a substitute? Danzo muttered to himself, and then he walked out of the room and looked at the two shinobi who knelt at the door. Danzo-sama. The two said in unison. Target, Hada Kakashi, mission objective, Sharingan, understand. One of them was stunned, but still said. Yes, Danzo-sama. Do cleanly. Yes. In the forest outside Konoha, Kakashi is rushing wildly. 3 years of training, while using weights has made Kakashi's speed rise to a terrifying degree, even Guy may not necessarily faster than Kakashi now. After knowing the mission location, Kakashi just goes straight there. Kakashi is also very curious about Orochimaru's research base. It is said that this guy's research base is everywhere. Even if Orochimaru is kind of evil, he is really a genius, and he is also a geek. His goal is actually much more pure than a lot of other people. Kakashi is not too disgusted with Orochimaru, and he was actually curious about him. He didn't know how many secrets such figure has mastered. Among all of the Sannin, no one is a simple figure. What Kakashi didn't know was that behind him there was 2 people tailing him, and because of the distance, Kakashi still didn't sense them. These 2 people are none other than the 2 root shinobi who has been sent by Danzo. Senpai, Kakashi's speed is so fast. Yeah, after all, he is one of the experts in Anbu, his strength is naturally outstanding. So we have to be careful, if we are exposed and attack him head-on, it is difficult for us to complete the mission. Yes, I understand. Let's go, there is still a long way to go, but don't be too close, otherwise we will be discovered. Fortunately, we also know the destination, so we don't need to worry about losing him. Yes, Senpai. Kakashi soon arrived at the Orochimaru's secret base, which is a place similar to a cave. The entrance is a big hole with a diameter of 1 meter. Kakashi looked inside and found that it was dark inside, except for some light, the inside was dark. Looking at this, Kakashi scratches his head helplessly. Forget it, I should go and see what's inside. He then takes a seal his body's pocket, and unsealed it to reveal an oil lamp. Kakashi ignited it and jumped into the hole. In less than a second, Kakashi already reached the ground. Kakashi looked around and found that the space inside was really big. There was a stone door in front of him. Kakashi took a few steps, and found a seal on it. This is. Kakashi took a closer look and found out that although this seal was just an ordinary seal at first glance that is easy to solve, but when he looks closely, it is actually a detonating seal. Once touched, it will explode. At the same time, it will also release his fire release that is sealed there. Orochimaru really has a bad taste. He actually put this kind of thing at the door in abandoned experimental base. If an average person comes here, maybe they will be caught up by this strap. After Kakashi lamented Orochimaru's bad taste, he immediately starts to solve the seal. In the past 3 years, Kakashi has not been idle. His research on seals has never stopped. He has mastered the basic of the seals. He had learned to use 2-4 symbol seal into an 8 trigram sealing style. That seal is really strong. Inside Konoha, it is only below the dead demon consuming seal that Sandaime can use. So this level of seal is not difficult for Kakashi. After the seal was solved by Kakashi, Kakashi tore it off and threw it aside. He then burns the seal. The gate was pushed open by Kakashi. He enters a large corridor, but the corridor was dark, and the visibility was very low. Kakashi then takes the oil lamp in his hand, and he sees that there are a lot of candles on the stone wall in the corridor. Kakashi starts to form hand seals and said, "Fire release. Fireball." Then Kakashi's mouth spit out a fireball, and it started to light all those candles. After a moment, the candles were all lit, and the corridor became bright. This is much more convenient. Kakashi passes through the corridor, and at the end of the road is another door. Kakashi didn't hesitate to open the door and go inside. Meanwhile, the 2 root shinobi stands near the entrance of the experimental base. "Senpai, what do we do now?" Kakashi went in and he will definitely come out. If we go in, I am afraid that we can't do anything inside. It is better if we set a trap here and take him down using it. "Senpai, is this really good?" Hada Kakashi is a Konoha shinobi, and he's also someone Sandame fond of. If we kill him, Kino, the orders of Danzo-sama are naturally justified. We just have to complete the mission. Do you understand? Yes, senpai. The shinobi, known as Kino, hesitated for a while then agreed, but there was still some struggle in his eyes. Kino, Hada Kakashi has also killed his companions in the past, so there is no need to hesitate. What? Kino is shocked. He has never thought that Kakashi is such a person. There was someone called Nahara Rin. She was a teammate of Kakashi in the past, and she was killed by Kakashi. What? How could it be? So, believe in Danzo-sama. Kino gritted his teeth and said, I understand. Okay, let's get started. Okay. Inside the base, Kakashi is holding a scroll and reading it carefully. After a while, Kakashi lifted his head. There are a lot of foundation in medical ninjutsu, and also some human body data. It is estimated that Orochimaru didn't care about this thing and leave it here. But this thing is useful for me. It is not bad to learn about medical ninjutsu. Maybe I can integrate it with my ninjutsu development. Kakashi sighed and closed up the scroll. Then he put the scroll inside his pocket. These things are not important, so Kakashi is not afraid to be discovered, even if he takes it. Let's see what else is inside this place. After looking around the room, Kakashi then left the room to continue exploring the experimental base. Chapter 49: The Big Snake. Kakashi came to another room, which had large cylindrical containers, but many of them were shattered. There were only 2 of them that were not damaged at all, but there is so much dust on them, so Kakashi could not what is inside. This should be the place where Orochimaru did his human experiments. These shattered containers must be the failed experiments who are dead. Kakashi said as he walked inside, and then he soon came to one of the intact containers. This container is not broken, but I don't know what is inside. Kakashi was curious and wiped the dust off. Soon, Kakashi saw a terrifying creature. A snake. The big snake. And this snake actually has hair. Kakashi's eye went wide. He was very surprised. Why does this thing look so much like Orochimaru's real white snake form in original work? No, there is something wrong. This thing feels weak, not the same as Orochimaru. Kakashi relaxed after feeling this. Now that he thinks about it, how can Orochimaru put himself in this kind of container? But then, what is the matter with this stuff? Why is this like this? Is it just a coincidence? This is too strange to be a coincidence. Having said that, where did Orochimaru's summoned beast come from? Did he inherit it from his family? There is not much explanation in the original work. It is estimated that only Sandane, Tsunade, and Jiraiya who knows about it. Sandane's summoned beast seems to be the strongest summoned beast in Naruto world. At least, the strongest giant monster except for Tail Beast is the Sandan summoned beast. Mount Maiboku, Ryuchi Cave and Shikatsu Forest are known as the 3 Great Holy Land. The Mount Maiboku is also the place that Naruto and Jiraiya learned the Senjutsu from. But the other 3 Great Holy Land, Ryuchi Cave and Shikatsu Forest, are obviously also has their own Senjutsu. The Senjutsu from these 3 places are different from each other. The original work does not explain whether Shikatsu Forest has Senjutsu or not, but Hashirama Senju is obviously using Senjutsu. Shikatsu Forest is the home of Tsunade's summoned beast, so Hashirama Senju's Senjutsu is probably from the Shikatsu Forest. After all, 3 Great Holy Land is on par with each other, so it is not surprising that Shikatsu Forest also has its own Senjutsu. If he has the opportunity, Kakashi would like to see what makes Senjutsu of this 3 Great Holy Land different. But it's still too early to do that. After all, Kakashi still hasn't learned any Senjutsu yet. When Kakashi was thinking about it, in the container, the big snake opened his eyes. Kakashi was surprised and jumped back. Is this thing awake? In the next second, the big snake opened his mouth wide, roared, and then directly hit the container. Bang. The container is broken. The green liquid flowed out instantly. Kakashi jumped back again to avoid being touched by these strange liquids. After all, he doesn't know if it is poisonous or not. At the same time, he takes out the Millennium Sword that he sealed in his right wrist. He then tightens the grip on his sword. The situation at this time is kind of dangerous. The big snake then look up. A pair of snake's eyes look coldly at Kakashi, making Kakashi somewhat uncomfortable. This thing is really disgusting. Kakashi pulled out a kunai using his left hand and throw it toward the snake's body. But the kunai didn't hit the snake. Kakashi actually missed. Of course, it wasn't because Kakashi who didn't aim well, nor did the big snake dodge, but the place where Kakashi aimed to hit was actually turned into a hole. After the kunai went straight through, it then immediately recovered. Kakashi was a little surprised. What kind of skill is this? It is really weird. The big snake did not give Kakashi extra time to think, and suddenly there were many small snakes come out of his body, and moving fast towards Kakashi. The scene right now is hard to describe. The dense snakes crawling fast on the ground. It seems really disgusting. Fire release, great fireball technique. Kakashi then expelled a giant fireball from his mouth, and a 3-meter diameter fireball radiated hot temperatures and start burning the snakes. Sure enough, this kind of thing should be burned with fire. The flame then dissipated, and a big snake rushed directly toward Kakashi, and the speed of this snake was very fast. Shunpo. Kakashi disappeared directly. The Millennium Sword in his hand then starts to expel blue lighting. Chidori. Kakashi then stabs toward the snake, and the head of the snake was nailed directly to the ground. He got no chance to dodge it. After releasing some cry, the snake did not move, and finally his eyes closed. Kakashi is still stand on guard, and observed it carefully. Then he found that the snake was indeed dead. Its strength is normal, it also is not lethal. Kakashi walked to the side of the snake, and began to observe it carefully. What? Kakashi soon discovered a strange thing. This big snake is different from the general snake, and he actually has a strange chakra. Although only a little bit, Kakashi can feel it. What is this chakra? Since ordinary eyes are useless, then. Sharingan. Pulling the guard, the scarlet Sharingan reappeared, the three Tomo kept turning, and Kakashi started to see something from the snake. This is, under Sharingan's sight, Kakashi found that the head of the big snake had a white chakra. The ceiling, this is Senjutsu chakra. Kakashi was shocked. This snake actually has a trace of Senjutsu chakra. What the hell is this snake? Why is it here? It seems to be the experimental subject of Orochimaru. Has Orochimaru been experimenting with Senjutsu before? Kakashi is not surprised seeing Orochimaru experiment with Senjutsu. After all, Ryuchi Cave also has the Senjutsu training method. The original work has also said that Orochimaru's body was not strong enough to enter Sage mode. It can be said that he has not used Senjutsu. After all, the curse seal he creates is also a kind of Senjutsu. So is this serpent an experiment subject so that Orochimaru can enter Sage mode with his body? It is not impossible. Kakashi eyes shines. This Senjutsu chakra should be Senjutsu from Ryuchi Cave. After all, this snake is only 5 years old and only 2 years old 3 years ago. Apparently, Orochimaru doesn't discover its Senjutsu before he abandons the space. Since it is Senjutsu chakra from Ryuchi Cave, the research value is too great. Without hesitation, Kakashi pulled out a seal from his back pocket. He then starts forming hand seal, and slam his hand on the ground. The Uzumaki sealing technique. The sealing formula emerged all around from the ground, dragging out the Senjutsu chakra from the big snake's head, and sealing it into the scroll. After all this, there was some word written inside the scroll. The gains this time are not small. Although it may not be possible to derive the Senjutsu's training method from this, at least I can see some of the Senjutsu's secret. Chapter 50 Ambush. Kakashi walked to the other cylindrical container that had not been opened, and wiped the dust off. He then sees that it was empty. Weird, how could there be nothing? I thought it would be like the snake in the previous one. Looking at it again carefully, he found that there was nothing else outside the nutrient solution, and Kakashi didn't care much. This is the last place in the entire lab. It seems that it was indeed abandoned by Orochimaru, and all the valuable things were destroyed or taken away by Orochimaru. The big snake is estimated to be one of the leftover two. It is a miracle to live up until now. Kakashi checked it again, and found that there was really nothing here anymore, so Kakashi did not stay much longer. This place is gloomy and cold, and only the snake-like creature such as Orochimaru will like it. Kakashi has no good feelings about this kind of place. After investigating here, Kakashi left as he now can just report his investigation to Sandaime. It didn't take long for Kakashi to see the round hole on the top of his head, and there is sunlight shining from above through the hole. Kakashi jumped out and stood at the entrance, then he used an earth release to bury the entrance. It was not a good place, and it was useless to keep it. If someone accidentally enters it, there may be danger, so it is better to let it buried underground. Looking at the base's hull that is collapsing, Kakashi nodded satisfactorily. He then turned and left, but Kakashi quickly stopped. Something's wrong. There's a problem. It's too quiet. Kakashi stood still and looked towards all of his surroundings. Before he came in, Kakashi could still hear the bird's voice all around here, but now there is no movement in voice. Obviously, these creatures have left. Animals are very sensitive creatures. If they feel that something is wrong, they will leave quickly, and this is obviously the same situation. There is someone trying to ambush him. Kakashi got the conclusion in an instant. Interesting, who is the one trying to ambush me? Is someone tracking me here? Kakashi's thoughts flashed in his mind, although he's not sure who it is, but it's clear that there are some uninvited guests here. However, their hiding skill seems to be very good, and he can't sense where the enemy is. In this case, I can only find them myself. He bites his thumb, and a little blood starts flowing out, then he forms some hand seals and slammed his hand on the ground. Summoning technique. With a bang, a petite dog appeared in front of Kakashi, wearing blue clothes, and there is also Konoha's headband on his head. This dog is Kakashi's ninja dog. Kakashi has been training them all this time, so their ability is very good. Yo Kakashi, what's the matter? Pakin, I guess there's someone around here trying to ambush me, but I can't sense where he is, so I need your help to find them. So it's like that, leave it to me. Seeing this scene, the two Roots shinobi thought the situation are bad now. After seeing Kakashi stop, they realized that it was not good. Now, they see the Kakashi summon his ninja dog. Obviously he has already found out that there are ambush. Their concealing technique is good, but they have not completely eliminated their smell. If it is ordinary shinobi, they wouldn't be able to found them, but if it is a dog, then they will be found. As a result, it seems that they can only fight him head-on. It is a pity that their previous arrangement can't be used now. Kakashi, there are two people there, behind those two trees. Pakin quickly discovered the two hidden root shinobi, and point their location to Kakashi. Okay, thank you Pakin, leave the rest to me. Kakashi now looked the enemy location and instantly sensed their breath. Be careful Kakashi, the enemy's strength is not weak. I know, do you doubt my strength? Be careful, don't make a mistake. Got it. When Pakin sees Kakashi is full confidence, he has not said much. In the past 3 years, he has been fighting with Kakashi. He also knows Kakashi's strength. He knows that Kakashi has made great progress in the past 3 years. Although the two peoples that is hiding are not weak, but they are no threat for Kakashi. With a bang, Pakin then turned into smoke. Kakashi didn't care then said, hey you two, you have already been exposed, you should come out now. It is meaningless to hide now. No one responded to Kakashi. Just as Kakashi wanted to do something, suddenly, two giant trees protrude from the ground. Kakashi's pupils shrank and exclaimed, would release. The two giant trees seemed to have life and start to wrap around Kakashi. The more he tried to move, the tighter his bind become. Kakashi was surprised, but he then used his ninjutsu. Chidori Nagashi. Blue's lighting then start pouring from Kakashi's body. At the same time, the two giant trees is directly crushed. Kakashi just broke free from the giant wood, and there is already a giant big fireball coming to him. Damn, they really didn't give me a chance to rest. With the Millennium Sword in his hand, Kakashi then slashed the fireball. The fierce slash directly splits the fireball into two halves, and completely annihilates it at the same time. How can it be? Although he knows that this fireball has little effect on Kakashi, he didn't expect it to be annihilated easily by Kakashi. Is a sword technique that can directly cut ninjutsu really exist? At this point Kakashi finally saw the figure of the two. One person is about 1.5 meters, with long hair and a mask of Anbu. The other person is taller, with an Anbu mask. Without paying attention to the tall man, Kakashi looked at the little man with long hair and asked him, Kino, why did you attack me? Kakashi didn't understand it. Although he didn't see Yamato after the Iburi clan's incident 3 years ago, they should be considered a friend. Yamato shouldn't have attacked him like this. Kakashi faintly felt that this thing was familiar, but he couldn't remember it. Damn, his memories about original plot are kind of hazy. For 3 years, Kakashi did have some problem remembering about the memories of his previous life, especially about the non-canon or filler stories. Sure enough, important things should be recorded. Kakashi made up his mind to write down the story he remembered after he went back, lest he forget it. Mission. The tone Yamato uses is cold, so Kakashi is helpless now. Why was he did this mission if it is about attacking him like this? Danzo, are you trying to deal with me now? Kakashi has secretly thought in his heart, but he doesn't care too much. As long as Sandame is still there, Danzo will not dare to deal with him openly. If he sends these two here, it looks like he is trying to deal with Kakashi secretly. Chapter 51 Reasonable. How can there be a mission to kill your own companions on this world? This mission is wrong. Kakashi whispered as if to say a plain truth. Yamato did not speak, but another person started to talk. What is your qualification to say about this thing? Did you forget about Nihara-rin that you killed? A very ordinary response, but it became very heavy, because of an unusual name. The emotion hidden in Kakashi's subconscious suddenly broke out at this moment. What do you know? I never thought about killing her. Kakashi's roar is beyond the expectations of both, and Kakashi, who has always been a calm person, suddenly became really angry. But no matter what, once a person is angry, they will easily reveal some opening. The man said to Yamato, Kino, it's a good opportunity. When Kakashi reveals an opening, we both then will take him down. Okay? Yamato flatly respond, but his mind is thinking about what happened now. Is Danzo wrong about Kakashi? Yamato now still keep thinking about his memory. From being Orochimaru's experiment to his life as Danzo's man, the memory has been alternating, and Yamato starts to feel very complicated. The root shinobi didn't have much thought and directly throw 3 shurikens. At the same time he also start forming hand seals. Shuriken shadow clone technique. Then those 3 shuriken he threw immediately multiply into hundreds of shurikens and moves towards Kakashi. There's too much of them. I can't dodge it. Kakashi is angry, but he's still able to respond at this moment. Needle Jizo. Kakashi's hair grows wildly, it protects his whole body, and blocks all the shurikens that try to hit him. This is a defense ninjutsu he got from Jiraiya. Right now Kakashi is already skillful in using this. There is no problem in dealing with those shurikens. The root shinobi apparently stunned. He didn't expect Kakashi to take this attack head-on. He also starts to think that Kakashi's ninjutsu looks so familiar. However, Kakashi did not care what he is thinking. Now he needs to defeat this guy first before he can talk to Yamato. Kakashi took back his hair, and in the next second, a tree appeared again from the ground, hitting Kakashi's chest. Then with his sword, Kakashi starts to slash the wood and cut it into pieces. Damn, there's no end to this. I need to defeat one of them first, Kakashi secretly thought. Then he immediately uses Shunpo and his figure disappeared instantly. Both of them are shocked, he's very fast. I can't see his movement at all. After 3 years of training, Kakashi was now very skillful in Shunpo, and perhaps he is faster than Shisui in his prime. But then again, Shisui right now seems to be almost 12 or 13 years old, and he should be getting into Anbu soon. These messy thoughts flashed through Kakashi's mind, and then he appeared at the back of the root shinobi with his sword in his hand. You're too much trouble, just sleep for a while now. What? When? The root shinobi was shocked. He didn't expect Kakashi to suddenly appear behind him, but he didn't feel Kakashi's presence at all. When he heard his voice, the root shinobi only felt a pain in the back of his neck, and he then started to drop on the ground. Kakashi only stuns him with his Millennium Sword. After all, he was Konoha shinobi. Although he is in the root, the one who was at fault is Danzo, and the root shinobi is also love Konoha. Senpai? Kakashi, what did you do to Senpai? Seeing the root shinobi fell under Kakashi's sword, Yamato is shocked. Nothing, I just think he is a little troublesome, so I let him sleep first. Rest assured, I will not kill Konoha shinobi. Kakashi explained that. Yamato's expression then is obviously getting better, although it can't be seen through the mask. Yamato then about to start attacking again, but Kakashi, using Shunpo, appears again in front of Yamato. Stop Yamato, who's forming his hand seal, and coldly at him. Kino, are you serious? We have fought side by side before, why did you try to attack me? For shinobi, mission is everything. Yes? But there is no mission, to kill your own comrades in this world. Those who break the rules are trash, but those who abandon their companions are worse than trash. Kakashi's words were like a sword stab into Yamato's heart, so that Yamato was feeling lost for a while. Then his hands that were still forming hand seals are also put down. Then why did you kill Naharu-rin? When he heard the name again, Kakashi's heart made a wave of ripples. Rin died for the sake of Konoha. She slammed into my Chidori herself and died. I never thought about killing her, but she chose to die in my hands. She wants me to be the one who sent her. Kakashi explained calmly, but his constantly shaking hands showed that he wasn't calm at all. After inheriting the feelings and memories of the original, Kakashi can be said to be a combination of the two souls, so his emotion is resonating with this. Kino looks at Kakashi's face, knowing that Kakashi is really emotional at this time. He knows that Kakashi is definitely not a ruthless person who is willing to kill his companions. After understanding this, Yamato starts to feel better. Kakashi let go of Yamato's hand and said, "It's over now. I hope there won't be next time for us to fight like this." Wood release has a very special meaning for Konoha. I don't think suitable to be in the root. I hope that you can consider getting into Hokage-sama's side. I believe that Hokage-sama will be very willing to accept you. Yamato did not expect Kakashi to suddenly talk about this, so he doesn't know how to respond for a while. After seeing Yamato having difficulty thinking about this, Kakashi did not force Yamato to make the decision now. Well, I said what I said. I will hand over this guy to you. I will now return back to the village to hand over mission's report. See you later then. Kakashi finished, turned and left. Looking at Kakashi's back, Yamato muttered. Is Danzo-sama really wrong? What is a companion? Is companion really important? Yukimi, can you tell me? It's a pity Yukimi, that was remembered by Yamato right now is wandering, or has settled in a Chagakure. After thinking for a long time, Kino still did not get the answer. He scratches his head and looked at the root shinobi that is lying on the ground. I should go back first and report this to Danzo-sama. Yamato whispered. He then picked up the root shinobi and started to get back to Konoha. However, Yamato's still thinking about what Kakashi had said. Konoha and the root are still very different. Chapter 52 Saving People. Kakashi keeps moving through the woods, and there is a strange feeling that has been lingering in Kakashi's heart. Why does he always feel that something went wrong, but he can't remember it? Forget it, I need to go back to the village first. Kakashi muttered to himself, and then he started to accelerate. The scenery in front of him quickly changed as he moves faster. Not long after, the familiar scenery appeared in front of him. Seeing this, Kakashi starts to feel at home. After slowing down his speed, Kakashi showed his pass to the gatekeeper and go to the Hokage office. Meanwhile, Yamato takes the root shinobi and finds a place to get some rest. Yamato did not know what he was thinking. He suddenly took out a small bottle filled with some liquid and immediately makes a fake Sharingan with the wood release. I have to go back and find the answer myself. Yamato whispered to himself, and after a while, the root shinobi woke up. Oh, what happened to me? The root shinobi said as he touches his back neck. Senpai, you are awake. Oh, it's you Kino. I remember we were fighting against Hada Kakashi. How could we are here now? The root shinobi was shocked and looked at all around, but found no trace of Kakashi. Senpai, I have already succeeded. Kakashi's body has been thrown into Orochimaru's experimental base. I make it looks like he get caught in a trap and died there, as some of Hokage's people searching for him. Oh? Really? I didn't expect you to be that powerful. Originally, I thought that this mission would fail. The Roots Shinobi originally did not believe what Yamato said, but when he saw the Sharingan on Yamato's hand, he didn't doubt it anymore. The job, now let's go back to Danzo-sama. Okay, let's go. The two men then start to get back to Root's base. In the dark room, those two then squatted in front of Danzo, and Danzo took the Sharingan from the bottle. Suddenly, Danzo's frowned, as he drops the bottle to the ground. With a bang, the bottle broken and the Sharingan turned into some wood. Kanoto. What are you two doing? You two actually dared to use this little trick to deceive me. Danzo was furious and apparently angered by what these two has done. Kanoto looks at that wood with a very surprised expression, and then he looked at Yamato who is now looking at Danzo. Danzo-sama. Why did we have to kill Hada Kakashi? Isn't he one of our companions? Yamato question made Danzo's face start to be uglier. The shinobi of the Root only companion are the other Root shinobi. Isn't Root one of the Konoha's shinobi? The Root is independent, the Root shinobi won't have past. They also won't have future. No feelings. No name. They only need to listen to my order. My mission. Danzo's voices start to get even louder, letting Yamato's feelings start to reborn. No feelings. No name. It's wrong. I'm not like that. I have feeling. Yamato suddenly stood up, and then looks at Danzo, then he shouted. No. I am the shinobi of Konoha, not just the shinobi of the Root. I have feelings. I have a name. My name is Tenzo. After saying this, Yamato seems to have used up all his strength as he was panting. Danzo is shocked. What are you talking about? What did Kakashi say to you? Damn it. Danzo pulled the bandage of his right eye directly, and subdued Yamato with Jinjutsu. After Yamato is under Jinjutsu, he then fainted. Kanoto on the side, is now holding Yamato. Danzo then starts to talk. Held him down. It seems that I need to strengthen the seal. Yes, Danzo-sama. Danzo's face is now very ugly. That bastard Kakashi, what did he do to Kino? Sure enough, the Hada clan is a curse. Kakashi walked on the road in Konoha, and looked at the Anbu mask in his hand. Kakashi's eyes suddenly went white as he remembered something. Shit. Yamato is in danger. Kakashi thought of it, and immediately rushed to the Hokage office. Sandame is now working inside his office, and Yuzuki Yugao is acting as guard at the door. Seeing Kakashi rushing over, and she quickly stopped Kakashi. Kakashi-senpai, what's wrong with you? Why did you in a hurry? Is Hokage-sama inside? Kakashi did not explain anything and asked her directly. Although Yugao did not know why Kakashi was so anxious, she still replied, yes. Hearing this, Kakashi didn't say anything and directly rushed in. Wait a minute, Kakashi-senpai, if you want to meet with Hokage-sama, you need to report it first. Yugao screamed, but Kakashi ignored it. Right now, he is in a hurry. If he didn't tell Sandame faster, there will be a lot problem. When it happens, the impact on this story will be great. Kakashi rushed straight in and saw Sandame as Yugao also followed behind Kakashi. Seeing Kakashi rushing in, Sandame is a little surprised. Kakashi, is there anything urgent you need to tell me? Sandame-sama, when I went to investigate the Orochimaru's research base, I met the wood-release shinobi that I told you before. He was one of the Root's men. He tried to kill me because of Danzo's order, but he failed and escapes. What? Danzo did that. Sandame was somewhat unhappy. He didn't expect that Danzo will try to assassinate Kakashi. Sandame-sama, the problem right now is that the wood-release shinobi has returned to the Root base, and he may be executed because he failed the mission. It is great losses for Konoha if that happen. Sandame-sama, please negotiate with Danzo and stop him from executing the wood-release shinobi. Hearing this, Sandame then looks at Kakashi sharply and said, Kakashi, give me a reason. Sandame-sama, Sensei's child is almost 4 years old now. The wood-release shinobi will be useful to help him, and the wood-release user is also very significant for Konoha. Finally, wood-release shinobi, he is my companion. He is Konoha's companion. Sandame looks at Kakashi inside. He admits that what Kakashi said makes sense. Yes, after Showdown Hokage, Konoha never have another wood-release user. If this wood-release shinobi really has that ability, he might become one of the Konoha's pillars in the future. Usually, I can't intervene with the Root, but this time is an exception. Yugao, tell Danzo to come over to see me. Sandame then ordered Yugao who is on the side. Yes, Sandame-sama. Wait a minute, I will go with you, Kakashi said suddenly. This, Yugao looked at the Sandame hesitantly. Let him go with you. Sandame nodded and then said that. Since the Sandame has agreed, Yugao didn't say anything else. The two then get out and moves toward the Root space. Kakashi-senpai, you are too fast, I can't keep up. Yugao, I am going first, we need to get there faster, or that will be too late. Kakashi finished, and did not wait for Yugao to answer as he uses Shunpo to disappear directly. Kakashi-senpai is really powerful. Yugao then looked at Kakashi who has disappeared and couldn't help but feel awed. He is really worthy to be called the legendary existence in Anbu. Chapter 53 The Root Space. The base of the root is located underground of Konoha village, and there is no sunlight there all the year round. In this darkness, evil continues to breed. And the source of this evil is Danzo. Unconstrained ambitions made Danzo gradually become darker, so that in the end he became a person who was not like a human being. Kakashi rushed to the root space and arrived to see the two guards at the entrance. Halt. What are you doing here? Kakashi stopped and took out a summoning order from Sandame and said, Hokage-sama is looking for Danzo. The two guards glanced at each other and said, Danzo-sama is not there. When Danzo-sama is back, we will tell him about it. Damn, I don't have time for this. Stop. What do you want to do? Kakashi ignored the two guards and went straight into the root space. You actually dare trespassing into the root space. The two guards want to fight Kakashi, but their speed is too slow. Kakashi has already hit them in the back neck, so they fainted. Kakashi suddenly looks like found something, and start to glance towards an open space, but he quickly rushed in again. In the Hokage office, Sandame is watching Kakashi with his crystal ball, and saw the scene just now. Sandame couldn't help but wear a bitter smile. Kakashi, this guy, really makes some problem. It seems that I have to go to the root myself. Otherwise, the trouble today will become bigger. But Kakashi's perception is getting even sharper now, and he can actually detect my observation. It looks like even I don't have any idea how strong Kakashi is now. Sandame said as he stand up and start to set off. Kakashi has just sensed the observation of Sandame, because of that, he dared to break in directly. Otherwise, he may need to fight all of the root shinobi, and that will be almost impossible. Although Kakashi has confidence in his own strength, he is definitely not so arrogant. In addition, all of the root shinobi are Konoha's shinobi, and Kakashi won't kill them. Of course, if he is in a hurry, he may not be able to control his strength. According to the original work, Kino should now be in a place like a seal room. I don't know if there has been any change. No matter what, let's go and see that place for now. Although Kakashi has never come to the root space, he still knows some about the topography of this space. After all, Kakashi is also an Anbu's small team leader, and he still has some understanding of the roots. Soon, Kakashi appeared in front of the seal room. Then Kakashi directly used Chidori to destroy the door. After the smoke and dust dissipated, Kakashi saw Yamato that was tied to the table and was ready to be sealed again. Found it. There was no delay, and he didn't think about why no one was guarding Yamato at this time. Kakashi rushed straight to Yamato and untied him. Kino, wake up. Yamato opens his eyes and saw a silver-white hair figure. Kakashi, you finally woke up, let's get away from here. Kakashi saw that Yamato was awake, and he quickly urged Yamato to leave as right now they may be in dangerous position. You come to save me. Of course, or do you want me to leave you alone? Kakashi said with no anger. Thank you. Don't talk nonsense. Let's go to Hokage-sama now, we will be saved there. Okay. The two did not talk nonsense and ran straight out of the seal room. On the other side, someone rushed to Danzo's room. Danzo-sama. Hada Kakashi has infiltrates the root space. What? How dare he? Call all of the root shinobi. Don't let him get away from this place. Yes, Danzo-sama. That shinobi hearing this immediately took action. Danzo is like boiling water, and his gloomy voice reveals a strong hatred. Hada Kakashi. Kakashi and Yamato start to run, and they were quickly discovered by the root shinobi. They are here. Quick, chase after them. Kakashi, they are catching up. Kakashi looked behind and saw that at least 10 shinobi are following them. Don't stop. Let's go. Okay. Soon, Kakashi arrives to the entrance of the root space. Kakashi, we are here. Yamato is happy, but Kakashi does not have such a good mood. He felt that there was a very strong presence waiting for the two at the entrance. And the only person with this kind imposing manner in the whole root space is probably Danzo. I finally meet you. Kakashi heart secretly thought. Sure enough, when the two rushed out of the entrance, Danzo blocked the entrance with dozens of the root shinobi. Danzo-sama. Yamato turned pale with fright. He didn't expect Danzo to wait at the entrance. Danzo didn't said anything and directly start forming hand seals. Wind release, vacuum sphere. There was a flow in the air, and terrifying air pressure gathered in Danzo's mouth. Danzo then spit out colorless wind pressure bombs, and it moved towards Kakashi and Yamato location. Kakashi was shocked, this ninjutsu power is strong. The Millennium Sword appears in his right hand, and the blue lighting then covers it. White Fang rushing to the moon. Blue's sword wave rushed toward the colorless wind pressure bomb with the power of lighting. Boom. There are loud noises after the attack clashes. The resulting waves directly make the surrounding root shinobi to fly away. Danzo pupils shrank. This technique. It is the technique of that person. Yamato is shocked at the sight of Kakashi, as Danzo's former subordinate. Yamato naturally knows how strong Danzo's ninjutsu just now. But he didn't expect that Kakashi is able to block it. Yamato looked at Kakashi, but this time, his gaze is full of awe. Kakashi is still holding the Millennium Sword and his blood start to boil. Is this Danzo's power? Sure enough, he is very powerful. Kakashi. You not only dare to trespass into the root space, but also want to take away the root shinobi. Did you want to rebel? Danzo-sama, it's not my fault, I am not that arrogant. Just now, you guards said that you are not here, but I have to go in and find you, as it seems that you are still in here. Kakashi is not afraid of Danzo's threats. You bastard. Don't think about leaving today. I will kill you right now. Danzo-sama. Kakashi, Yamato's words are not finished as they were directly interrupted by Danzo. You still dare to talk? I will take care of you later. Yamato then can't say anything. Surround them. As soon as Danzo spoke, all of the root shinobi surrounded Kakashi and Yamato. Kakashi then starts to get ready as his eyes start to seem more serious. If it was one-on-one, Kakashi is naturally not afraid, but now there are so many people, even Kakashi have to be serious. It's really troublesome. Sandaime-sama, please come soon, or I'm afraid I can't control the urge to kill them. Kakashi said that the only remaining right eyes start to show murderous intent. Chapter 54 Sandaime and Danzo. Kakashi, you should leave me here, don't die here for me. Yamato said as he tries to persuade Kakashi. Kino, don't worry. I will get you out from here. I won't leave you alone here. Kakashi held the Millennium Sword tightly, and looked at the upcoming root shinobi. Kakashi's words make Yamato's heart felt warm. Is this the feeling of a companion? Sure enough, the feeling of the root is completely different from this. You bastard, you actually dare to invade the root. One of the root shinobi is obviously very angry right now as since the root have been established, no one dares to invade this place like Kakashi. If Kakashi is not caught, the root's dignity will be destroyed. Kakashi ignored this person's words. After all, it was all nonsense. Kakashi didn't want to waste effort by refuting him. You damn brat. Seeing Kakashi ignore him, the root shinobi is furious. As that happened, 5 or 6 fast root shinobi were already close to Kakashi. They are ready to attack him. Looking at their speed, they should be shinobi who is good at Taijutsu. Taijutsu-type shinobi Kakashi often fights with such people. After all, there is Guy. He is already accustomed to Guy's fierce Taijutsu technique. These people's attacks in Kakashi's eye looks like a child's attack. He really can't afford any interest in it. As Kakashi thought of this, these 6 people are already close. These 6 people then attack at the same time. 3 punches and 3 kicks are aimed toward Kakashi. Kakashi coldly smile, their body is so close now. Chidori Nagashi. Ah. Erg. The thundering blue lighting broke out in the moment when those 6 people were close, and the terrifying current undoubtedly entered those 6 people's body, paralyzing the body of those 6 people, making them fall directly to the ground. They wouldn't be able to move for a while. One move. 6 root shinobi are defeated. The eyes of the rest of the people looking at Kakashi could not help but starts to become more serious. Danzo's face is even more gloomy, and seems to be thinking about whether he needs to attack now. I didn't expect the brat of the Haddock clan to grow into this point. Damn. Sure enough, he should not be left alone in the first place. Now he has become trouble. Looking at Kakashi's strength, Danzo's heart is full of remorse. Kino, protect yourself, and leave the rest to me. Kakashi chuckles as he said that. He looks really arrogant right now. Yamato is now looking at Kakashi's back, and couldn't help, but feels that he is really reliable, and having such a companion was really reassuring. Secret technique. Insect sphere. A lot of insects suddenly flew out of a root shinobi, and moved towards Kakashi. Aburum? Kakashi whispered. These insects are Aburum's clan Kakechu. They are able to consume chakra from their target, unless it is chakra with a special attribute. If it is the aggressive Kyubi's chakra, the Kakechu will die when consumed. It is a pity that Kakashi's chakra is at best a bit more pure than usual, and is not that different from ordinary chakra. But since it is just bug, they must be scared of fire. Thinking about it, Kakashi then start forming hand seals. Fire release. Great fireball technique. Kakashi then spits out a giant fireball from his mouth, and then the fireball starts to swallow all of the Kakechu. In the air, there are now smell of insects is burned. The Aburum clan's member is very distressed after seeing this. After all, he worked hard to breed all this Kakechu, so he was distressed after seeing all burned out by Kakashi. This is a small corridor, so the root shinobi can't use large-scale ninjutsu, otherwise the root's base will be destroyed. So now, they only use small-scale ninjutsu. But, these small-scale attacks have no effect on Kakashi at all. Kakashi's taijutsu and sword technique are also very strong. Right now, they are at disadvantage. Danzo-sama, Kakashi is Hokage-sama's men. If we go on like this, I am afraid it is not easy to explain to Hokage-sama later. The root shinobi who's next to Danzo, suddenly said to Danzo. Danzo hearing this frowned and said. Even if he is Hokage's men, if he dares to come here to make trouble, then don't think about leaving here alive. Haha, Danzo, you are still so impulsive as always. Danzo was surprised, this voice is. Danzo looked at it and saw Sandaime falling from the sky and land in front of Danzo. And at the same time, there are some Anbu surrounding this place, and the situation became a bit strange. Kakashi also stopped at this time. Since Sandaime has come, it is natural that they do not have to fight anymore. Hiruzen, what do you mean? Danzo called. Danzo, I know that you have some trouble with Kakashi, but you can't kill Konoha's excellent shinobi. Danzo looked at Sandaime and said, I don't have any problem with Kakashi. It is Kakashi who has trespassed the root's base, so that I need to take him down. Oh? That's it. It's a misunderstanding then. I asked Kakashi to go to the root to find you, but you lied, that you were not here. Kakashi had to break into here as he needs to find you, as soon as possible. Sandaime looked sharply at the Danzo. At this time, Sandaime seemed to have become the professor of ninjutsu, Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was one of the strongest shinobi alive, not an old man who was weakened. That seems to be a misunderstanding. I have never heard of this. Seeing Sandaime like this, Danzo knows that it is impossible to kill Kakashi now, so he stops that. After all, Hokage is a true leader of the village. The thing about Kakashi is like this. Now let me talk about why I want to call you. Sandaime walks toward Kakashi in turn and said, you know that now the Kyubi Jinchuriki is growing up, wood release user is becoming even more important. I didn't expect you to have wood release user here. Danzo, you should not hide him from me. Hiruzen, do you mean that Kino should join Anbu? Danzo asks as his tone is filled with hate. Yamato is someone Danzo had personally trained. He is wood release user like the first Hokage. And now that Sandaime wants to take him away, it is obvious that Danzo is not willing. Danzo, although I know that you have put a lot of effort training the wood release shinobi, but it is better for a wood release user to work as Anbu than root shinobi. As wood release user is one of important symbol of our village. Sandaime is now looking sharply at Danzo, and the Anbu surrounding this place is even more eager to move, apparently putting pressure on Danzo. If Danzo disagrees, there will probably a lot of trouble. Kakashi was able to feel the tension around as the fight almost broke out. Although he knew that Danzo would likely agree to this, he was still on the alert and was careful to not make any mistake. Danzo closed his eyes and thought about the pros and cons. Not long after, Danzo opened his eyes and said, I understand. You can take Kino with you. Chapter 55 Tenso. Seeing Danzo agree, Kakashi finally relaxed. It seems that the problem now is finally resolved. Yamato's mood is a bit weird, both excited and disappointed. Excited because he can find the so-called companions, but disappointed because he has to leave Root and all of the Root shinobi. After all, Yamato still got some feelings in Root. Great. Kino, you can go with us now. Kakashi turned and said to Yamato. And Yamato just showed a smile, but did not say anything. Seeing that Yamato's mood is not good, Kakashi didn't say anything else. The feeling of leaving a familiar place, Kakashi can understand it too. Danzo, thank you for your understanding. It must be hard to part ways with the one you personally trained. Sandaime then stopped his imposing manner, as if everything was just an illusion. Right now, he feels like a normal kind old man. But Danzo won't think so again. Originally, Sandaime was already retired from the front line and only work on paperwork. But now it seems that he still has terrifying power. So Danzo knows that he will not be able to act rashly for at least 5 or 6 years. After all, Danzo is weaker than Sandaime, so he understands that it is only because of their friendship that Sandaime pardoned his action all this time. But in order not to let the Root shinobi to leak information, I had to seal them. There is no way to unlock this seal. It doesn't matter, he is also Konoha's shinobi, and he will not reveal the secrets of the Root. Sandaime didn't care about this. He asked Yamato to join Anbu for his wood release, and not to deal with the Root, so he wouldn't ask about the Root secret. So it doesn't matter if he was sealed. In that case, you can take him with you. Sandaime nod, he starts to walk away from Danzo and start to leave the base. Kakashi followed him, and Yamato was first stunned, but then he walked away too. But when Yamato walked past Danzo, Danzo said in a small voice, "Become a shinobi under the sun." The sound was very small, and it was so small to Yamato that he thought he was wrong. When Yamato turned to look at Danzo, Danzo's face is still like a zombie's face, and it seemed that he didn't said anything. Yamato smiled and moved towards Danzo, bowed deeply and said, "Thank you for all your care, Danzo-sama." After that, Yamato quickly followed behind Kakashi. Kakashi also heard what Danzo said. It is just that Danzo's voice was very small. He estimated that no one except Yamato had heard it, but Kakashi heard it too. The fusion of the two souls have made Kakashi's 5 senses stronger than any average person, so Kakashi was able to hear Danzo's words. It seems that Danzo is not so cold-blooded. This idea just emerged in Kakashi's mind, but was dispelled immediately. Kakashi didn't think about it too much. After all, the ultimate boss of this world is not Danzo. After getting out of root space, a ray of sunlight shines on Yamato's face. At this moment, there are some invisible shackles that fade at this moment, and Yamato feels a little relaxed. Kakashi looked back at Yamato and said with a smile, "How do you feel?" "Kakashi-senpai, I don't know how to say it, but I feels calmer now." "Ah, then it's good." Kakashi smiles that his right eye start to curves and he looked very kind. Yamato just smiled too looking at this. Kakashi-senpai, you are running too fast, and how can you get inside the root space directly? If it wasn't for Hokage-sama, there would be a lot of troubles. Yugao said as she is now in front of Kakashi and Yamato. Kakashi is feeling helpless, and he didn't know what to say. Sorry for that, Yugao. The situation was urgent, so I was not thinking straight. But senpai is so amazing. I just saw it. So many root shinobi were defeated by senpai. Senpai is really strong. There's worship on Yugao's face. Kakashi was embarrassed hearing this. That's right, Kino, this is Izuki Yugao, and she is one of the Anbu. After all, we are gonna be companion. Yamato was originally looking at two people talking, but Kakashi suddenly began to introduce him, so that Yamato was caught off guard. Please take care of me, said Yamato. Ah, no need to be polite like that, we're almost at the same age, and we also have Kakashi-senpai as our role model. Well, don't say something like that. Is Kakashi-senpai shy? Senpai is so cute when embarrassed, Yugao said with a smile. Kakashi hearing this couldn't help but snorts. Seeing the scene in front of him, Yamato's mouth unconsciously forms a smile. Is this the feeling of a companion? Sure enough, it is very beautiful. The rich shinobi will not have such a daily routine, and at this moment he suddenly understands the meaning of the so-called sunlight. Sandaime came over and said, Kino, you need to come with me, there are some things I need to arrange with you. Yes, Hokage-sama. Kakashi, you're too rash at today's event, you shouldn't do this kind of thing in the future. Yes, Hokage-sama, I know it is wrong. That's good then. After Sandaime finished, he took Yamato with him. Senpai, then I will go first. Okay. Soon, all of the people are gone, leaving only Kakashi still in this place. Ah, this matter is finally resolved. I can go back home now. Kakashi stretched out his body and returns to his house to rest. In the Hokage office, Sandaime is now talking with Yamato. Kino, I will put you into the 16 where Kakashi is now, and then you will follow Kakashi to do mission. Yamato is a little relieved after hearing this. After all, he is not familiar other Anbu, so after hearing that he is with Kakashi he is happy. Kakashi-senpai. I understand, thank you Hokage-sama. Haha, no problem. I have already arranged for someone to arrange a place for you. You can follow him later. Thank you very much Hokage-sama. The next day, in the Anbu's Great Hall. One person walked into the Great Hall and muttered, so this is the base of Anbu. There is a big difference between it and the root space. After that, Yamato quickly found the room where the 16 was located, and with a nervous mood, Yamato opened the door. As soon as the door opened, more than a dozen of eyes looked over him. Yamato couldn't help but be more nervous now, but he saw the familiar figure, the silver white-haired boy. Hello everyone, I am Kino, I just transferred from the root, please take care of me. The Anbu all showing kind expressions, and Yamato is not nervous anymore after seeing this. This is really a place full of sunlight. Kakashi smiled looking at his team. Kakashi had already known that Yamato is joining him from Sandaime. Yamato just came from the root and still didn't know anything. Naturally, he needs to follow someone he knows, so there was no surprise to Kakashi that he is right here now. Kino is your codename at the root. After you become Anbu, you can't use it anymore. So in Anbu, you should be called Tenzo. Yamato hearing Kakashi said it couldn't help but feels grateful. There was a smile on his face, and he said loudly, alright. I'm now an Anbu shinobi. Tenzo comes to report. Chapter 56 Naruto. The addition of Tenzo caused a certain degree of turmoil in Anbu. After all, wood release was too conspicuous, even if you wanted to be low-key, it could not happen. Soon, Tenzo's name was circulated in Anbu. Kakashi didn't think too much about this. The meaning of wood release user for Konoha is too great, and right now Konoha is also in its weakest time. Although the appearance of a wood release user does not necessarily increase Konoha's strength, it is still a big improvement for Konoha shinobi morale. But these are still not good enough. After all, in shinobi's battle, even if the morale is high, it still won't do anything in front of absolute power. Just like the fight of 5Kage against Uchiha Madara. Kakashi is still doing mission in Anbu, he is also doing his own training in his spare time. His life is dull, but he feels it is enough. On this day, Kakashi just finished a mission and walked alone on the streets of Konoha, and the sky suddenly became a bit gloomy. Oh? Is it going to rain? Kakashi looked up at the sky and soon felt the rain dripping on his face. It can't be helped then. Kakashi said, as he moves quickly and takes shelter in a store. Oh, it's you Kakashi. How come you have time today? When he heard a familiar sound, Kakashi looked up and saw that it was Tucci. He didn't expect to enter Ichiraku ramen. At this time, Ichiraku ramen is empty as there is no customer. Oh, I just finished my mission. I didn't expect it to rain like this. March is just like this. The weathers sometime are unpredictable. You should drink this soup to get warmer. Tucci said as he hands a bowl of soup to Kakashi. The soup in Ichiraku ramen is naturally a ramen soup made by Tucci. Even if there is no ramen inside it, it is still very delicious. Kakashi is also not polite. In these 3 years, Kakashi is very familiar with Tucci. Thank you very much then. Kakashi took the ramen soup and sat down on the chair to drink it. His cold body has suddenly starts to become warmer. No matter how many times I have eaten it, I still feel that this is very delicious. It's really hard to beat you, craft Tucci-san. Haha, that's right. Listening to people's praise is always a happy thing, especially if this person praises him is the best. Kakashi then start talking with Tucci. Otu-san, who is coming? A soft voice came from the kitchen. Kakashi, who heard it, knows that the owner of this voice was playing Tucci's daughter, Aim. Right now, Aim is 8 years old, and she already can help Tucci to do a lot of things. And Tucci will not be as busy as before. Oh Aim, Kakashi is the one who is coming. Kakashi Nai-chan, you come here. Do you have any wonderful stories to tell me? Hearing that Kakashi came, Aim ran out very excitedly. Kakashi is smiling when hearing this. When he was eating something in Ichiraku, he had talked about some fairy tale from his previous life with Aim, but he didn't expect this little girl to be so addicted to this. So every time she sees Kakashi, she will hang around to ask Kakashi to tell a story. If Kakashi is free, he will tell some stories for Aim. It's raining today and there is nothing he needs to do, so Kakashi doesn't mind telling some stories for Aim. At the outside, the temperature is a bit cold because of the rain. But Kakashi, Aim and Tucci is not feeling it inside the shop. That's great, so Snow White is finally with the prince. Yeah, they live happily ever after. That's great, I will also looking for such a handsome and powerful person to be my husband. Aim loved the story, and her eyes are filled with infinite expectations. Kakashi feels some helplessness. The children of this world are really precocious. Even if they are still so small, they already start thinking about these things. Tucci couldn't help but laugh hearing Aim's word. Obviously, he didn't care about it. He thought that it was a joke of a child. Then Kakashi feels something and start to look back. Kakashi's movements also caught the attention of Tucci and Aim. The three people look outside the door. They saw a lonely figure standing at the door, with the yellow hair, 3 beards on the left and right sides of his face, and his blue eyes looked a little depressed. The wet hair indicated that he was coming from the rain. Kakashi then thought, Uzumaki Naruto. It's the first time I've seen him. It's been more than 3 years since I came here. He has become so big already. Sensei, your child has grown up. Naruto, why don't you use an umbrella outside when it rains? Come inside. Tucci said that as he goes to the back of the shop to take a clean towel and rubbed it on Naruto's hair. Naruto did not resist, but rather enjoys it. Tucci-akin, Naruto's voice rang, but he seemed a little hesitant. What wrong, Naruto? Tucci asked as he looks at Naruto. Naruto lowered his head, he didn't talk, and there was something weird about him. When he wanted to ask something, Naruto's stomach suddenly growled with a very loud voice. Naruto lowers his head even more. Tucci suddenly realized, and said with a smile, Naruto, if you are hungry, come here and sit down, uncle will give you a bowl of your favorite ramen. Naruto then looks happy, but he quickly turned sad again and said, but, Akin, I don't have money. Tucci is stunned but then smiled and said, it's okay. You don't need to pay. Naruto's bleak eyes flashed in an instant. He stares at Tucci and say, really? Thank you, Akin. Of course, now you should sit down first. Just wait for me to make your ramen. Aim, let's get to it. Okay, Otu-san. Both Tucci and Aim then went into the kitchen, and leaving Kakashi and Naruto alone. Naruto also noticed that there was another person next to him. Naruto curiously looked at the strange guy with silver white hair next to him. Why would he cover his face and his left eye? This is the first question that Naruto has in his mind after seeing Kakashi. But soon Naruto found something that made him very happy, that is, this person's eyes is not full of disgust as the other, when he looks at him. This discovery makes Naruto to be full of joy. It must be known that Naruto has only seen this kind of look from Sandaime, Tucci, and Aim all this time. Seeing that there is another person who is not disgusted in him make Naruto's mood very happy. Hey. Hello. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you. Naruto said with a bright smile that is kind of infective. Kakashi's right eye was turned crescent and said with a smile. Oh, my name is Hada Kakashi. It is also very nice to meet you. Sensei, I am sorry, I will officially look after your child from now on. Chapter 57 The Warmth of Ramen. Seeing that Kakashi really answered his greetings, Naruto became more excited. Nai-chan, do you come here often? Why haven't I seen you before? Kakashi scratched his silver white hair and said, I usually come here often, but I hasn't come here in a while. Are you also often come here? Yeah, I come here very often. I usually bring money to come here. The ramen here is really delicious. It is the best thing I have ever eaten. Naruto said excitedly. It seems that he suddenly found a person who he can talk to, and he wants to say everything in his heart. That's true, I also think the ramen here is very delicious. Kakashi said with a smile. Right, I know that Nai-chan here also has excellent taste. The ramen here is superb and has a special taste. Naruto's eyes became even brighter when he heard Kakashi's approval of the ramen. Yeah, it really has a special taste. Kakashi's words are not wrong. After all, he really feels Tucci's ramen does have a special taste. This kind of food that is made with sincerity naturally has a special kind of warmth. Naruto, your ramen is ready. At this time, Tsuchi come with a bowl of ramen and placed it in front of Naruto. Naruto couldn't help but stop talking when he sees this. He claps his hands together and said Itadakimasu. Then he picked up the chopsticks and starts to eat the ramen happily. He is so hungry right now. The monthly living expenses from Konoha are too little for Naruto, and he has already spent it all. He hadn't eaten anything for 2 days now. Naruto wondered if he didn't eat again today, he will be starved to death. So Naruto starts to think of the people who could give him something to eat. But the people who would help him are only Sandaime and Tsuchi. Sandaime has been busy recently, and he has forgotten to visit Naruto for a while now. When Sandaime did not visit Naruto, Naruto could not find Sandaime himself. After all, it is hard to come to the Hokage office. Naruto had no choice but to come over and find Tsuchi, but he did not expect it to rain when he is in the middle of the road, making him wet. Naruto wanted to go back halfway, but his hunger stops him from doing that. At this time, Naruto cried out happily when eating the ramen in the bowl. Sure enough, ramen is the best thing to eat, and Tsuchi is the best person. Naruto ate and ate, tears could not stop flowing from his eye. Why? Why? Obviously I have done nothing wrong, so why all people hate me? Why don't anyone want to play with me? Why is anyone not willing to sell me something? Why don't anyone smile to me? Why? What did I do wrong? Or my father and mother, why did they leave me alone? Naruto's heart is full of bitterness, and only the temperature in this ramen gives Naruto a warm feeling. Seeing Naruto's tears, Tsuchi is a little bit stunned. What's wrong, Naruto? Why did you cry? Did my ramen not good? Naruto hearing this quickly wiped the tears from the corners of his eyes and revealing a bright smile while saying, No, Akin's ramen is the best food in this entire world, so I cried because it was too delicious. Looking at Naruto, that made a strong smile. How can Tsuchi not know what is going on? He is a really poor child. Tsuchi secretly sighed in his heart. Kakashi didn't feel good when he saw Naruto's tears. This is the child of the Yondaime Hokage. He is the hero who is holding Kyubi inside him for Konoha's sake. Why is he treated like this? Is this what Jiraiya said about human suffering? It's too cruel to let such a small child experience this. There are so many such children in this world, and the fate of all Jinchuriki is almost the same. Their childhood is definitely not a good memory. Is this world wrong? Kakashi doesn't know. Under Naruto's fast eating, the bowl of ramen and soup quickly entered Naruto's stomach. Thank you for the ramen Akin, it's very delicious. Naruto put the chopsticks down and said Tsuchi. Kakashi looks at Naruto, only Naruto's tongue is still moving on his mouth, his hands are also touching his stomach, apparently he is not full yet. Kakashi doesn't know how long Naruto has been hungry, but he knows about the amount of Naruto's terrifying appetite in the original work. This guy is definitely not full, maybe not even a third full. Naruto didn't really have enough, but he didn't dare to say, as he was afraid that Tsuchi will think that Naruto wanted to take advantage of him and hate Naruto. Although he knows that if he says it, Tsuchi will definitely give him another bowl of ramen. Naruto still can't gamble on it. He is afraid of losing someone who is kind to him. This bowl of ramen is the only light that Naruto sees in the dark, he does not want to lose. Seeing that Naruto is not eating enough, Kakashi feels a little distressed. Naruto, right? Seeing Kakashi calling his name, Naruto quickly turned his head at Kakashi and said, Yes, I am Naruto. I am very glad that I meet you for the first time. I want to treat you with another bowl of ramen. Did you eat more of it? Really? Shironai-chan. Naruto said excitedly. Shironai-chan. Kakashi is speechless. Naruto, can you not give someone such a strange nickname? Of course it's true, but don't call me Shironai-chan, you can call me Kakashi Nai-san. Kakashi corrected. However, Naruto apparently ignored Kakashi's correction, and said to Tsuchi, Akin, Shironai-chan treat me to some ramen, I want to eat the large bowl miso ramen. Okay. I will give you a bowl of the biggest miso ramen. Tsuchi said that he had pulled up his sleeves and showed his biceps. Obviously he planned to do a big job. Otu-san, let me help you, said the little AM who is on the side. Ah, I have a really sensible daughter, let's do it together. Kakashi was sitting on the side and seemed helpless. Naruto didn't seem to hear his words just now. What the hell is Shironai-chan? Who wants this kind of nickname? Sensei, it looks like your son really loves to give someone weird nickname. Shironai-chan, are you a shinobi? I see that you wear the Konoha's headband. Naruto refers to the headband on Kakashi's head. Kakashi sighed in his heart, it seems he can't escape the nickname of this Shironai-chan. Yeah, I am a very good shinobi. Really? Nai-chan, can you teach me ninjutsu? Naruto looked at Kakashi with expectations in his eyes. Ah, this is. Kakashi prolonged his words and Naruto starts to feel sad and thought, sure enough, it is impossible. Naruto's heart is somewhat lost. Seeing Naruto's appearance, Kakashi didn't know why, but he was feeling a little uncomfortable. Of course it is okay. Kakashi said with a smile. Really? Really? Naruto, who originally thought that he would be rejected, was surprised to hear such words. Of course it is true. That's great. Naruto happily jumped out of the chair. Kakashi smiles as he looks at Naruto. He really is a hyperactive little devil. Naruto, your super miso ramen is ready. Tucci then said as he brings the super big miso ramen out of the kitchen and bring it toward Naruto. Naruto saw the miso ramen and the both of his eyes start to shine. He didn't wait anymore and start eating the ramen. Ah, this is really delicious. Yes, the ramen with this kind of warmth is a great ramen. Chapter 58 Ninja Way. The rain was starting to stop and Naruto swallowed the huge bowl of miso ramen. After that he seemed satisfied. That's great, today is a really wonderful day. Yes, for Naruto, today is wonderful. After all, he met someone who doesn't hate him, and he also treats him with some ramen. Kakashi looks at Naruto who has done eating the ramen. He sees that the bowl is about the same size as the basin, and he can't help but feel speechless. Where did Tucci find a bowl like this? He had never seen it before. Also, is Naruto's a Saiyan? Both of them have yellow hair. And Saiyan also have huge appetite like this. Thank you very much, Shironai-chan, Tucci-akin. Naruto then expressed his gratitude. Well, you are welcome. You have eaten my treats, so we are friends in the future. Friend? Hearing this, Naruto can't help but feel very happy. What happened? Seeing Naruto still silent, Kakashi couldn't help but ask. No, nothing. Okay then, are you full now? I am full. Would you go with me? Go? Where are you going? Naruto asked with some doubts. Kakashi knocked on Naruto's head and said, Idiot. Didn't I just say that I want to teach you ninjutsu? Naruto's eyes lit up, and he starts to become really eager and said, Really? Now? Of course it is true. If you want to learn ninjutsu, just come with me now. Kakashi said that as he uses Shunshin, and the speed was so fast that Naruto did not respond at all. Wow. It's amazing, I must learn this too. Naruto said with great spirit and immediately run to chase after Kakashi. Shironai-chan, wait for me. Tucci looks at the two left with a smile on his face and he whispered, It's a fateful meeting. Aim who was beside Tucci then pulls his sleeve. What's wrong Aim? Otu-san, Kakashi Nai-san didn't seem to pay just now. Hearing what Aim said, Tucci then was stunned and then said, Bastard. He is a hateful guy, actually dared to eat without paying. Next time he come, I must ask for the debt today. Kakashi actually wants to pay, it is just that he forgot about it because of his talk with Naruto. On the other hand, the food he ordered is not eaten by him, it is Naruto who eat it. Although Kakashi said that he would like to treat Naruto, he forgot about it. Outside, Naruto is still trying to chase after Kakashi. Kakashi seems to go very fast, but in fact he actually slowed down, so that Naruto can see his figure, but not able to catch up with him. Not long after, Naruto was already panting. After all, how much stamina a 4-year-old child has? Even if the body quality in Naruto world is not normal, a little kid like Naruto is still not strong enough. Naruto is now putting both of his hands on the knees, the sweat on his head began to drip on the ground. How can I not catch him up? No. I can't give up. Otherwise, there will be no more opportunity like this and. Naruto raised his head again, and start to run again. And how can this kind of thing stump me? I must get the approval of Shironai-chan. Kakashi who is in the distance saw this and smiled. As expected from Naruto. No ordinary person can have as much perseverance as him. Inside Konoha, after the rain, two figures, one big and one small, are running wildly and splashing countless splashes. After a long time, Kakashi finally stopped and he arrives in a place full of meaning. The 7th training field. Turning his head, he saw that Naruto's still following him and finally arrived too, but the clothes on his body is full of dirt, and his dazzling blonde hair also became bleak. But his eyes are full of fighting spirit. Catch up, you, Shiro, Nai-chan. Naruto is gasping for air while saying that, feeling incomparably hotness in his chest, as if his chest were about to explode. Well, you've done a good job, and welcome to the 7th training field. Kakashi said with both of his hands in his pocket, and his right eye turns crescent. Naruto after hearing this then starts to look at the surrounding. In addition to the trees, there were only 3 wooden stakes in the middle of the field. It looked very empty. He didn't know what is Kakashi going to do with him here, but Naruto didn't ask because he didn't have strength anymore to ask. His stamina was exhausted, and Naruto was struggling to talk. Seeing how you have a strong stamina at such a young age is worthy of praise, but to become shinobi is not that simple. Are you ready? Of course. I will be successful. The exhausted Naruto still remembers his vows. Even if his body is not working now, he will still learn anything that is possible. Good answer. Then let's start our first lesson now. What is it? Naruto looked forward to what Kakashi gonna teach him. After all, he normally sees some shinobi use cool moves, but Naruto did not know how they did it. It is making Naruto somewhat envious. In the first lesson, let's talk about the ninja way. Kakashi said while looking up at the blue sky that had just been washed by the rain. Ninja way? What is that? Naruto is still a little kid, he obviously can't understand this kind of thing. His blue eyes are full of doubts. How do you explain this? What is your belief? Kakashi's slightly lazy voice sounded a little embarrassing. Belief? I have it. Naruto seems to understand Kakashi's words and quickly answered. Oh? You have it. What is it then? Kakashi asked with a little curiosity. He did not think that Naruto to have the belief. Maybe it was because he became precocious after experiencing such a tragic life. My belief is that I'm not gonna run away and I will never go back on my word. The little body seems to be releasing huge energy at this moment, and the seemingly ordinary words have brought Kakashi great shock. It turns out that Naruto has such a great belief. He will definitely become a great person. Oh, it's very good answer. You will definitely become an amazing shinobi, Naruto. Really? Do you think so? Naruto said happily while laughing loudly. That look is really naive and cute. But it is really good that someone can be persistent in his goal. Since you already have your ninja way, then we will start shinobi's training. The first thing you need to know is shinobi's most important thing, chakra. The sun gradually set, and the two figures in the 7th training field are still talking about something. One person is seriously talking while the other one listens carefully, and the scene looks very beautiful. Chapter 59 Senjutsu Chakra. Well, this is chakra's cultivation method. You have to cultivate it well. When you cultivate it well, I will teach you an interesting ninjutsu. What ninjutsu? When he heard that he could learn ninjutsu, Naruto was excited immediately. Ah, you will know about it when we get there. Remember, you must concentrate on cultivating your chakra. Otherwise, you will not successful. Shironai-san, in fact, I have not understood about it. Naruto touched his head embarrassedly. Kakashi sighed. He knew that Naruto understanding ability is not good. Since he can't understand the speech, then he need to use his body to remember. Kakashi put his palm on Naruto's back and said, Naruto, remember this feeling well. Naruto was going to ask something, before he feels a stream of heat from his back, and the heat then spreads around his body, and then gathers into his lower abdomen. The whole process is only 5 seconds. Kakashi removed his palm and asked, do you remember it? Yes, I remember, Naruto said with some excitement. Although his understanding about theory is not good, Naruto's ability to learn with his body is very good, so that he can understand immediately. That's good, it's late now. It's time to go home. Kakashi looked at the dim sky. It was already dark before he realized it. Naruto originally excited little face has become a bit lonely after hearing this and thought. Did I have to go back to that cold home? No, that place can't be called a home, it's just a house. Kakashi knows what Naruto is thinking, but he didn't say anything. This is Naruto's life. He has to go on his own, and he can only give him some help, but he can't help him with all the suffering. He needs to experience this himself. Naruto, I will wait for you here at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. I hope you have cultivate your chakra when we meet tomorrow. Kakashi said that as he disappeared in a blink of an eye, leaving only a puff of smoke. However, Naruto did not appear to be sad anymore, but smiled. He clenched his small fist, and his eyes are full of spirit. I will do it. Wait for me. Hearing that they will train again tomorrow, Naruto's sadness has disappeared in an instant. He is happy that he seems to have found a friend, although this friend looks very strange, and he is a lot older than him. Naruto quickly ran back to his home and starts to train. In the past 3 years, Kakashi has been busy with his training and his job as an Anbu. He really did not have time to find his teacher's son. However, since they finally meet now, naturally he can't just stand by. Although he can't completely change his tragic childhood, he can at least give him a bright light in his dark childhood. Thinking of this, Kakashi has returned to his home. It was still early, and Kakashi did not intend to take a break, and he also didn't train his sword skill. Kakashi's sword skill is already at a high level. He didn't need to train every day. After all, he can just review his sword technique to increase his comprehension. Kakashi then took out a scroll from his pocket and opened it. He then sees some kind of seal runes in there. This is the Senjutsu Chakra that Kakashi taken seal from the laboratory of Orochimaru. And it should be Senjutsu Chakra of Ryuchi Cave, one of the 3 great holy land in the legend. Senjutsu is one of the high-level skills in Naruto world. Kakashi is very interested in Senjutsu, and it is also listed as one of Kakashi's goals to train in Senjutsu. However, compared to Senjutsu of Ryuchi Cave, Kakashi feels that he may have a greater chance of getting Senjutsu of Mount Maiboku for himself. After all, he is closer to Jiraiya than to Orochimaru. As for Senjutsu of Shikatsu Forest, Kakashi really doesn't know how to ask Tsunade about this. Jiraiya is the only person he can ask. After all, Kakashi is also a grand disciple of Jiraiya. With this kind of relationship, there is a good chance that Jiraiya will help him to train the Senjutsu. It's just that even after 3 years, Kakashi has never seen him again. However, Kakashi is not in a hurry. If you remember correctly, his favorite book, Icha Icha, is the birthday gift that Jiraiya gave to him when 18 years old. If it is the same as original plot, Jiraiya will appear in front of him maybe 6 months from now. 6 months, half a year, Kakashi can still afford. After 3 years, Kakashi's chakra reserve has grown a lot, and learning Senjutsu should be no big problem. Sharingan seal has also been practiced by Kakashi to the point of perfection. Basically, with the help of sealed strength, Kakashi is not affected by Sharingan when sealed. But when he uses Sharingan in battle, his chakra consumption was still very high. Kakashi still hasn't found a way to fix this high chakra consumption. Looking at the scroll in front of him, Kakashi points his fingers at the seal, and take a small portion of Senjutsu chakra. The little white chakra appeared in the palm of Kakashi, with a gloomy atmosphere. Is this Senjutsu chakra? It is very different from the general chakra. This chakra seems to feels like the snake type of Ryuchi cave. The white chakra is like a swaying candlelight, and Kakashi tries to perceive it with his own chakra, but without a surprise, Kakashi's chakra is directly bounced out. Sure enough, Senjutsu is not so easy to learn. Kakashi suddenly discovered that he didn't seem to have any way to do anything to this Senjutsu chakra, and he couldn't analyze the secret. Wait, when it comes to analyzing, there seems to be no more suitable tool than Sharingan. Kakashi then pulled up his headband, the Tomo in his scarlet left eye began to turn, and he starts to see something from the white chakra. This feeling it is really complicated. The white chakra is like a labyrinth. Even with the help of Sharingan, it is still somewhat hard to understand. Kakashi didn't believe that he can do it, and increases his chakra output. Then the black dart starts to appear in his Sharingan. Mangekyou Sharingan. I see. So it turns out to be like that. He then seals his Sharingan again, and recovered the guard. Senjutsu chakra is full of risks. This complicated structure, if I am a little careless, I am going to become a monster. It seems that I can only go to Mount Maiboku first. If I can learn the Senjutsu of Mount Maiboku, then maybe I will be able to learn the Senjutsu of Ryuchi Cave from this thing. Kakashi thought as he was feeling a little excited. What would happen to Senjutsu chakra of the two holy lands, if they were integrated? Kakashi is looking forward to it. Kakashi then reseals the Senjutsu chakra into the scroll, and then he placed it in a sealed box in his room. Once someone other than Kakashi tries to open the box, it will burn directly. Inside it is all the secrets of Kakashi, including the Naruto World Diary, that is written in words that don't belong to this world. Chapter 60 Uchiha Shisui. In the locker room of the Anbu 6 team. Kakashi is now changing his clothes. Kakashi-senpai, I heard there will be a newbie coming over today. After changing his clothes, Tenzo said to Kakashi. Oh? There is another newbie. Kakashi said without paying attention to him. Newbie in Anbu is not a big news, it is not something weird after all. Kakashi-senpai, this time is different. Seeing Kakashi did not pay attention, Tenzo added another sentence. Well, what's the difference then? This newbie is an Uchiha. Uchiha clan. Kakashi is stunned. He didn't expect the newbie to be a Uchiha clan member. The Uchiha clan managed the Konoha military police force, and was unable to enter Anbu, because Hokage was very resistant to let them enter the Anbu. Kakashi then thought, so who is the person who is coming in now? Uchiha Itachi. No, it's too early. He should still be at academy. Who is it then? The name instantly appeared in Kakashi's mind. Uchiha Shisui. Wow, did Kakashi-senpai has heard of this person before? When he heard Kakashi say this name, Tenzo was a little surprised. Originally, he thought that Kakashi didn't know about this person. It seems that Kakashi have heard of this person. I heard that he seems to be a very powerful shinobi. Yeah, I heard that he is the most outstanding shinobi of the Uchiha clan's younger generation. But I didn't expect anyone from Uchiha to enter Anbu. Did Sandaime allow it? Kakashi muttered to himself. If he remembers correctly, when Uchiha Shisui enters Anbu, it is time for the Uchiha clan to start planning the coup. Will the massacre happen in the future then? Kakashi sighed thinking about it. For Uchiha's massacre, Kakashi was unable to stop it. Whether it was Konoha Counselor or Uchiha clan's leader, Kakashi could not interfere with their ideas. If he chooses to stand in the team, Kakashi will also choose Sandaime's side. After all, a lot of the Uchiha clan's members did really have extremist idea. So it is better to stop them. Even someone who is thinking about the bigger picture like Shisui can't change the Uchiha clan's plan. If he remembers correctly, the head of Uchiha clan, Uchiha Fugaku, is a hidden expert with Mangekyou Sharingan. The most terrifying thing is that Kakashi knows nothing about his Mangekyou Sharingan's ability. It will be really troublesome if he fights against him. However, that probably never will happen. After all, Kakashi and Uchiha Fugaku have nothing to do with each other. The only connection between them should only be about Obito's Sharingan. In order to let Kakashi keep Obito's Sharingan, Minato and Sandaime negotiate with Uchiha Fugaku. After all, for Uchiha's Sharingan to be on non-clan members will become a shame for the Uchiha. However, the Uchiha clan can do nothing. With the support of the Sandaime and Minato, Uchiha Fugaku can only accept this. However, as a result, the Uchiha clan's members dislike Kakashi for having the Sharingan. Fortunately, Kakashi has been working at Anbu, which has eliminated the chance of conflict with the Uchiha clan. Senpai, what are you thinking? Seeing that Kakashi is staying silent and thinking about something, Tenzo stretched out his hand and shook it in front of Kakashi. Sorry, I am distracted. You're really strange, senpai. Tenzo said with no anger. Well, don't pay attention to such small details. It looks like no one else has come today. Looking at the empty locker room, Kakashi feels a bit strange. Senpai, today is a holiday, naturally there is no one else here. Did you forget about this? Oh, is it? Then why are you here? Senpai, I'm on duty this Sunday. Tenzo reveals a helpless expression. He feels that Kakashi today is really forgetful. So it's like that. It looks like my memory is not good. Hahaha. Kakashi laughs embarrassedly. Thinking about the Uchiha clan makes Kakashi feels a bit uneasy. It was at this time that there was a knocking sound coming from the door of the locker room. Kakashi and Tenzo then look at the door direction. Kakashi then said, "Please come in." The door then starts to open. A young man appeared in front of the two. He wears a high-collared, dark-colored outfit. There is also a tanto strapped to the right side of the back of his shoulder. He looks like about 12 or 13 years old. "Greetings, senpai. I'm the newbie who was assigned here, Uchiha Shisui. Please take care of me," said the boy while bowing deeply. He is a very polite young man. It's hard to imagine that such a humble teenager is from the Uchiha clan. Is this Uchiha Shisui? Kakashi then secretly thought. A shinobi who is known as the strongest Jinjutsu user is now still just a fledgling teenager, but his imposing manner is already really good. Even if he is not at a level of Jonin, he is not far behind from it. At the very least, he is stronger than most of the Chunin. When Kakashi looks at Shisui, Shisui was also looking at Kakashi. Before entering the 6th team, Shisui naturally investigated the 6th team. After all, for shinobi, intelligence is also a very important thing. And since Sandaime has approved Uchiha Shisui to enter the 6th team, it is natural that he to provide some information to Shisui. For the 6th team, Shisui is not interested with the wood release user. But he is interested in Kakashi, who is known as Kakashi of the Sharingan. In the Uchiha clan, this Hada Kakashi is not well liked, but this does not include Uchiha Shisui. Kakashi's Sharingan is a gift from Obito, which is no secret in the Uchiha clan. When Shisui knew this, he was not resentful for Sharingan's lost, but was moved by the friendship between Kakashi and Obito. Kakashi is also very famous in Anbu, and Shisui has also heard of Kakashi's name. Seeing Kakashi at this time, Shisui's only feeling is that Kakashi is very powerful. Even if Kakashi only standing there, Shisui already feels the pressure. This is a real expert, and he has only feels like this kind of pressure from the head of the Uchiha clan. As for Sandaime, he is usually very restrained, and he will not reveal any imposing manner, if there is no need to. Is this the legendary shinobi, Hada Kakashi? He's really powerful, it's great to be able to do things under him. Shisui is full of excitement at this moment. As shinobi, it is a very lucky thing to follow a leader with formidable strength. Welcome to the Anbu's the 6th team, I am leader, Hada Kakashi. Kakashi then smiles and said. Chapter 61 Shisui's Strength. This person's feels very kind, not as cold-blooded as the rumors had said about him. Shisui thought while he looks at Kakashi in front of him. That smile is definitely genuine, he genuinely welcomes Shisui in his teams, and Shisui can feel it. Thank you senpai. But you come at such an unfortunate time. Today is the 6th team's holiday, there is only me and Tenzo right now. I know, Sandaime-sama has already told me about it. Oh, that's good then. Generally speaking, usually it is the vice leader that should have brings you to be familiar with Anbu's thing, but today the vice leader doesn't come, so let me the one to help you. Thank you very much then senpai. Well, it's okay, it's just a small thing after all. Tenzo, you should continue to be on duty, I will be taking care of Shisui now. Yes, Kakashi senpai. Tenzo nodded. Shisui, let's go. Kakashi greeted. Yes, senpai. Shisui left the locker room, following behind Kakashi. Kakashi senpai is really weird today. He actually took the initiative to bring the newbie around. It seems that he is in a good mood. Tenzo said that as he shook his head. Usually, Kakashi always told the vice leader to do this kind of thing. With his lazy personality, except for training and doing mission, he will always let other people do it for him. It is no wonder that Tenzo will feel that Kakashi is in a good mood today. Kakashi walked in front and Shisui followed quietly behind him. Suddenly, Kakashi stopped. Seeing this, Shisui glanced and immediately asked, "What's wrong Kakashi-senpai?" Nothing, it's just that I suddenly remembered one thing. What is it? Shisui asked with some doubts. Kakashi turned to him and said with a smile. As the leader, I need to have an understanding of the team's strength. Do you mind fight with me now? Shisui once again looking at Kakashi, after confirming that he didn't feel any maliciousness from Kakashi, Shisui said. I don't mind. After all, if the leader doesn't understand the strength of his team, it is easy to cause misjudgment. Good, then let's go to Anbu's practice room. Okay, senpai. Shisui replied, with his blood faintly boiling, he then though. Kakashi of the Sharingan. I can't wait to see how much his strength really is. The reason why Kakashi proposed to fight Shisui is actually because he wanted to see how strong Shisui that is called the genius in the original work is, and how fast is the so-called Shunshin no Shisui. Kakashi is very curious about it. Of course, the reasons that he had said to Shisui are also true. Anbu's practice room was not far away, and the two soon arrived at the practice room. The practice room is about 500 square meters, which is normally used for Anbu's shinobi training. But the one he's training here are usually just the newbie. At this time, there was no one in the practice room. It was empty and is convenient for the two. Looks like we're lucky, there are no people here. Well, let's get started, Shisui, also don't hold back. I want to see your real strength. Kakashi's lazy voice became a bit more serious. After all, Shisui is the one who is called the strongest Jinjutsu user. Even if he hasn't fully grown up, Kakashi will still be cautious when fighting him. When Kakashi didn't use his Sharingan, Jinjutsu is his weakest point. I understand, Kakashi-senpai. Shisui said, holding the tanto behind him with his hands. Both of his eyes changed from a dark color to a scarlet color, and the three tomos were constantly turning around. Three tomos Sharingan. At the age of 12, he already reached this level. As expected from the genius of Uchiha clan. Seeing this Kakashi sigh, he also knows that he needs to be careful of Shisui's strength. Then he grips the Millennium Sword. Seeing Kakashi did not pull up his headband and using Sharingan, Shisui is feeling a bit confused. Senpai, why don't you use your left eye? Ah, it's okay. If it's not mission, I would use it. After all, the chakra consumption is huge. Kakashi explained to Shisui. Kakashi knows that his Sharingan shouldn't be used casually before he can fix the huge chakra consumption. Shisui hearing this did not insist too much, he then clenched the tanto, and looked a little serious. Then, let's get started. The sound barely fell, and Shisui already threw two kunai at Kakashi without slightest hesitation. Kakashi is about to knock it, but Shisui has once again pulled out two kunai, and throw it toward the two kunai before and change its direction. The Uchiha clan's Shuriken Jutsu. 4 kunai are now approaching Kakashi from 4 different directions. Seeing this, Kakashi's mouth is curved into a smile. Interesting, beautiful Shuriken Jutsu. It looks like only the Uchiha clan member can use it. Then the Millennium Sword is wrapped with lighting, and he directly cuts the 4 kunai into 2 halves. Chidori. Kakashi uses his Chidori to increase the sharpness of his sword. Shisui was startled, but his body did not stop there. He uses Shunshin and disappeared from his previous place. Kakashi's body is tense. Where is he? Suddenly, Kakashi feels something from behind him. He's behind me. Kakashi turned quickly, and he faced a hot flame. Uchiha Blaze Sword. Scarlet red flame condenses on Shisui's tanto, and he is now slashing towards Kakashi. So fast. What a powerful sword technique. Kakashi was startled, but his grip on the Millennium Sword is getting tighter. Then he slashes at Shisui's tanto. Pada clan sword technique. Lighting slashes. Ding. 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 Then there is sound of metal clashing, the Millennium and the tanto clash 3 times, and the collision between the thunder and flame release countless sparks. The two then step back, look at each other. Kakashi-senpai is really powerful. Shisui felt the strength Kakashi after that exchange. Whether it's his sword skill or his Shunshin, Shisui is confident in himself, but these two have been blocked by Kakashi. And looking at Kakashi's expression, that is still casual, it looks like he easily blocked his attacks. If that is the case, Shisui's Scarlet Sharingan then starts to turn. Demonic Illusion, Shackling Stakes Technique. There was a wave of something coming from Shisui's Sharingan, and Kakashi felt that his limbs seemed to be nailed, and he could not move at all. Kakashi's face suddenly turned pale, and he seemed to be greatly traumatized. Senpai, it looks like you lost. Oh? Is it? Kakashi chuckled, his pale face instantly reverting to its original state. Shisui was surprised. How could it be? He cracks it. In less than 3 seconds. Kakashi didn't say anything to Shisui, but directly punched Shisui's abdomen. His strength is great, so Shisui's body bounced off. Ah! Shisui screamed as he felt his stomach hurting, and then he squatted on the floor. Shisui, you are careless. Did you forget that I also have Sharingan? I'm already familiar with Sharingan's Jinjutsu. Kakashi's faint voice was getting into Shisui's ear, making Shisui somewhat remorseful. Yes, Kakashi also has Sharingan. How can Kakashi not know about Sharingan's Jinjutsu? It looks like everything is nothing but a lure for him to use Jinjutsu. Thinking of this, Shisui could not help but show a smile. Chapter 62 Shadow Clone Technique. Okay, get up, this level of attack should be nothing to you. Of course, let's start again, senpai. Oh? It looks like you are still very energetic, come on then. Shisui touched his stomach and stood up again. Kakashi's punch was strong, but it was not that painful and would not affect his combat power. The battle restarted and Shisui's figure moved again at high speed. Oh? Not a normal Shunshin, and this speed. With a bang, Kakashi caught Shisui's fist that is trying to hit him from behind. Not enough. After that one hit, Shisui disappeared again. As expected of Shunshin no Shisui. Even at this age, he can already be so fast. I don't know if Minato-sensei has this level of speed at this age. Kakashi's mind suddenly came up with this thought. Although Minato is famous for the Rasengan and Flying Thunder God Jutsu, Minato's speed is also very fast, before he learned Flying Thunder God Jutsu. So Kakashi was curious about which one is faster between Shisui's Shunshin and Minato's Shunshin. Looking at Shisui, his body is constantly disappearing. Kakashi's fighting spirit is being ignited. Kakashi's Shunshin is slower than Shisui's, but when it comes to moving fast, there is not only Shunshin. Shunpo. His physical strength explodes, and Kakashi's figure disappeared. Shisui lost his target in a flash. What happened? Where is Senpai? Shisui was amazed, and his eyes three-tomo turned wildly. In front? No. Left? No. Right? No. Above? No. Then he is behind. I'm here. Kakashi's faint voice rang from behind Shisui. Shisui was shocked, and Kakashi's sword has already appeared in front of Shisui's throat. The figure of these two also stopped. Looking at the sword near his throat, Shisui has some bitterness. Complete defeat. Whether it's a sword skill, Jinjutsu, or Shunshin, he lost in all. Shisui felt that he was completely crushed. And Kakashi has almost never launched an attack, all of his movements are defensive, but Shisui still lost. Most importantly, Kakashi didn't use his Sharingan at all. The first loss can be said to be that he is careless. But for the second time, Shisui lost completely. Shisui has a strong confidence in his own Shunshin, and even feels that his own speed may be comparable to the Yondaime Hokage when he is Shisui's age, but now it seems that there is still a big gap between him and Yondaime Hokage. Shisui obviously thinks that the Shunpo used by Kakashi is Yondaime's technique. After all, Kakashi is a Yondaime's disciple. After that, Kakashi takes his sword back, and sheathed it again. Kakashi then said, "Okay, I think I know about your strength now." "Sorry senpai, I let you down," Shisui said apologetically. Kakashi frowned, but then he said with a smile, "Shisui, this is not right, I am not disappointed, on the contrary, your strength surprised me, whether it is Jinjutsu, sword skill, or your sword skill. You should have no opponents against the people of your age. But I lost the senpai and lost completely." Shisui lowered his head and said, "Shisui, I am 5 years older than you. It is normal for me to be stronger than you. When you reach my age, you will be stronger than me. Really senpai?" Shisui hearing this was instantly rejuvenated while looking at Kakashi to see if he is telling the truth. "Whether it is true or not, it is up to your hard work." "Yes senpai, I understand." Shisui said that as he had a deep bow to Kakashi. "Well, this spar ends here, now I will take you to receive your Anbu's clothing and your Anbu code." Kakashi said that as he had regained his lazy appearance and left the practice room. Shisui is falling behind, he is looking at the back of Kakashi, and then he starts to vow in his heart, "I will definitely surpass this man. Boy Shisui, why don't you follow me?" "Oh, I will come right now, Kakashi-senpai." Shisui said that as he starts to follow Kakashi. After picking up something with Shisui, Kakashi let Shisui go to study by himself. He also told Shisui to officially report for mission tomorrow. Shisui naturally agreed very quickly. After doing this, Kakashi found that there was nothing to do in Anbu. After all, today is his team holiday. There is nothing to do, it seems like I forgot an important thing right now. Kakashi touched his silver white hair, as if he suddenly remembered something. "Oh right, I need to meet with Naruto at the 7th training field, but it is still too early." Thinking about this, Kakashi picked up the medical scroll from his pocket bag and started to research it. Medical ninjutsu, this kind of thing is very useful, whether it is to study ninjutsu or to treat people, it has a lot of benefits. So now he starts to train and try to master this. Right now, Tsunade is still gambling and moving from one casino to another. If Tsunade returns later, he will ask her to teach him. But now, if he has any questions about it, he should go to Konoha Hospital to find Medic Nin. When studying, time moves very fast. For Kakashi, learning makes him happy, so he loves to learn things. Closing the scroll, Kakashi said to himself, "It is almost time for the meeting, I should go to the 7th training field now." In the 7th training field, Naruto came here early. This is the first time Naruto has a plan to meet someone since he was born, so he will never be late, so he come here in the morning. The excitement in his heart is something that ordinary people won't understand. Yesterday, Naruto didn't sleep well, of course not because he couldn't sleep, but that he is cultivating his chakra, so he didn't sleep at all. Chakra's cultivation is not difficult for Uzumaki clan member, because they are a clan with a large chakra reserve. Naruto's chakra cultivation is very fast, but Naruto simply does not know whether his chakra is cultivated a lot or still small, so he has not stopped cultivating it. Naruto didn't sleep until his body couldn't stand it. No, it can be said he fainted. Fortunately, there's Kyubi inside his body, so that this fatigue didn't leave any damage to him. When Naruto woke up, it was already more than 3 hours. When Naruto woke up, he afraid that Kakashi has already left, because he is sleeping. I don't know if this chakra that I cultivated is enough or not. I hope Shironai-chan is satisfied with this amount. Naruto is thinking about Kakashi's reaction while holding his little head. "You Naruto, you are already here." The familiar voice made Naruto look back at once. "Shironai-chan, you have arrived. Look, I have cultivated some chakra." Naruto said as he impatiently starts to release some chakra in his hand, and a visible blue chakra instantly wrapped his hand. Kakashi was shocked how much chakra he cultivated in one day. His talent is really terrifying. Sure enough, the Uzumaki clan's physique is very powerful. Hey, Shironai-chan, are these chakra enough? Naruto is looking at Kakashi with full of expectations. Ah, it's enough. In order to reward you for cultivating this much chakra, today I will teach you the first ninjutsu. Really? What ninjutsu would you teach me? Naruto said as he looks excitedly at Kakashi. It is Shadow Clone Technique. Chapter 63 Kyubi. Shadow Clone Technique. What is that? Naruto asked doubtfully. Naruto hasn't enrolled at the academy yet, so he doesn't know anything about it. However, even if he is enrolled at the academy, it is estimated that Naruto still won't understand as he usually never listened to the lesson. Kakashi is not surprised by this and starts to explain. This ninjutsu is a technique to make clones. It's a B-rank ninjutsu. It's amazing. What is B-rank ninjutsu? Naruto scratched his head. Apparently he still didn't understand. Okay, I will explain it from the beginning. The necessary energy for shinobi is chakra. I have already told you about this yesterday. Shinobi's attack method is divided into 3 basic types: ninjutsu, jinjutsu, and taijutsu. These basic types of attack method then divided into several levels. There are C rank, B rank, A rank and S rank. And what I want to teach you is B rank ninjutsu, do you understand? What? Only B rank? It doesn't seem to be very powerful then. Don't be greedy, Naruto. Kakashi looked at Naruto while looking stern, and made Naruto's body tense. Naruto then said, okay, I will learn this. It's good that you are optimistic. This is the hand seals for using the Shadow Clone technique. Kakashi said as he starts to form hand seals using his hand, and his chakra flowing with a special way inside his body. Then a burst of smoke appeared, and another Kakashi appeared from the smoke. Naruto, can you see it clearly? At this time, Naruto had already been stunned, and his speech was stuttering. But great, Shironai-chan. Hey, do you understand? Kakashi asked again. Then should I try it? Naruto said with some uncertainty, that although it looks very simple, it seems to be not that simple. Naruto thinks it's weird, but he still wants to try it. Okay, then you can try it. Kakashi then let Naruto tries. He is looking forward to this. After all, this is Naruto's signature ninjutsu in the original work. He wants to see if Naruto can learn it this time. Naruto seeing Kakashi is looking at him is slightly nervous, and he's silently cheering for himself. Naruto, you can do it. Naruto shouted after encouraging himself in his mind. HAHH. Shadow Clone Technique. Kakashi then saw that Naruto was surrounded by blue chakra. The amount of this chakra has already exceeded the needed amount to use Shadow Clone Technique. He is using too much chakra. In this case, Shadow Clone Technique will be unsuccessful. Sure enough, with a bang, Naruto had a deformed humanoid object next to him, and the scene became silent for a while. Naruto then yelled while holding his head. Aya, how could this be? How could it fail? Kakashi sighed. Sure enough, he still can't do it. Seeing Kakashi sighing, Naruto thought that his performance has disappointed Kakashi, and Naruto is anxious. No, I can't disappoint Shironai-chan, otherwise, I will be left alone again. No, absolutely not. Shironai-chan, it is an accident just now, I can do it. Let me try again. Naruto said, once again, forming hand seals and his whole body was shaken by chakra. What? Boom. A new group of deformed objects appeared in front of the two again. Aya. How could this be? Naruto apparently is feeling helpless. But Kakashi knows the reason why he failed. When Naruto launched this ninjutsu, Kakashi could feel that there was some of Kyubi's chakra flowing from Naruto's seal. It seems that the Kyubi is already affecting Naruto now. Kakashi quickly concluded in his heart. Okay Naruto, you don't need to try again. Kakashi pulled Naruto who still wants to try again. Shironai-chan, I'm sorry, but I can do it, just give me another chance. Naruto said that his eyes were a little red, and it seemed that he could cry at any moment now. Kakashi seeing this is feeling some kind of discomfort. He didn't expect Naruto to have such deep feelings for himself. After all, they only just met yesterday. Now, just because he is afraid of my disappointment, he is saddened to be like this. It feels a little distressing. Naruto, it's not your problem. Wait a minute. Ah, what do you mean? Naruto widely looking at Kakashi with his sky blue eyes. He doesn't know what Kakashi means. Kakashi pull up his headband directly and unseals his Sharingan. Then the Tomo starts to rotating. When Naruto saw the Sharingan, he fainted and fell directly into Kakashi's arms. Naruto, take a good sleep, you should rest for now. I will help you check the problem. Inside the seal, it looks like the structure of a sewer. Is this the place where sensei seals the Kyubi? Kakashi looked around and found that the environment here was really not very good, and it was difficult for Kyubi to live here for so many years. His foot is now in the water. Seeing this, Kakashi attached chakra to the soles of his feet and starts walk on the water. Soon, a huge cage appeared in front of Kakashi. Is this sensei's seal? Kakashi looks at the cage that is as high as 100 meters, and he can't help but feel a little emotional. At this time, a pair of lantern-like eyes appeared in Kakashi's field of vision. Human. It seems there is human coming in. Hahaha, it's really interesting. How long have it been since the last human come? Humans, go a little closer. Kakashi hearing this then takes a few more steps forward. Yes, that's it, move closer. When Kakashi is 5 meters in front of the cage, he suddenly stopped and said, Kurama, your genjutsu has no effect on me. Kyubi's pupils shrank, not because Kakashi cracked his genjutsu, but because Kakashi actually called his name. Human. Who are you? How do you know my name? Kyubi then roars, a huge whirlwind appears in the sealed space, at the same time a huge claw stretched out from the gap of the cage. It's no wonder that Kyubi is surprised. After all, the only one that knows his name except the other 8 Bijus is only the Sage of 6 Paths. And this person actually knows about it, that it is really difficult for Kyubi to understand. That is not important. Can you quietly listen to me now? Kakashi said that as the Sharingan in his left eye slowly turned into a black dart shape. The Kyubi also calmed down, and his ice-cold voice was filled with indifference. Mangekyou Sharingan. You're an Uchiha clan member. How is it possible? Is there anyone else who can open the Mangekyou? The voice is indifferent, but there is a hint of fear. Kyubi will never forget the fear that he was once dominated by Sharingan. The man named Uchiha Madara is simply using him as his pet. He knows that Mangekyou Sharingan is something dangerous. Chapter 64 Conversation. If it weren't for this seal, I wouldn't dare to come here. Kakashi with both of his hands in his pocket, said as he had a look of laziness. Although Kyubi is ferocious, in this seal, he won't need to be afraid that Kyubi can attack him. Minato's 8-trigram sealing style is very solid. Kakashi actually couldn't understand why Minato used the dead demon-consuming seal. It is reasonable to say that to seal Kyubi, it is not needed to dead demon-consuming seal. Even a single 8-trigram sealing style is enough. But why does Minato-sensei use the dead demon-consuming seal? Kakashi thought of the reason for a long time, and finally he can only be attributed it to the fact that Minato's love for Kushina is too deep, so he can't bear to let Kushina to die by herself. Otherwise, with Minato's ability, he didn't need to use dead demon-consuming seal. It is enough to use the 8-trigram sealing style to seal Kyubi to his own body. After all, this seal was used to seal Kyubi inside Uzumaki Mido and Kushina. Kakashi, who has mastered the 4 symbols seal, also had a little understanding of the power of the 8-trigram sealing style. That seal was enough to seal Kyubi. For the death of Minato teacher, Kakashi can only regret that he can do nothing, so the only thing that can be done now is to take care of Naruto. After thinking this, Kakashi looks at this huge 9-tailed fox. His imposing manner is indeed terrifying. He is called the strongest Biju after all. No, your eyes are not your own, you are not an Uchiha. Oh? It was discovered by you so soon. And, I have seen this Mangekyou pattern before. Kyubi said that as he starts to be thinking about something. Kakashi soon thought of the reason why Kyubi had seen it before. That bloody night, isn't it caused by this other Sharingan? Obito, why did you attack Minato-sensei and Kushina Ni-chan? Right, 3 years ago, it was this Sharingan who controlled me. No, it was Right-Eye, human, tell me where your Sharingan came from. Kyubi roared. 3 years ago, it was this dart-shaped pattern Mangekyou Sharingan who controlled him, and makes me remember about the fears decades ago. This shame, Kyubi will never forget about this. The person who gave me this. These are not important. Even if I tell you, what can you do now? I am coming in here just because I want to talk to you. Talk? Are you here for this little devil? Kyubi calmed down at this time, he can only listen to Kakashi now. In front of Mangekyou Sharingan, Kyubi really can't do anything, and he knows that he can be controlled by this Sharingan again. Compared with the wood release of Senju Hashirama, he was even more frustrated by Sharingan. Yes, Naruto is your Jinchuriki, maybe you should get along with him. Hahaha, it's a joke. You guys are the one who sealed me here, and here you tell me to get along with Jinchuriki. What am I? Did you think I am your pet? I am very sorry about this, but Kurama, there are still some things that will need your strength, so I can't let you go out for the time being, but 14 years from now, you will be free. What do you mean? Kyubi was not stunned by the so-called freedom, but instead he was attracted by another message. I can't tell you about that for the time being, I can only tell you that, if this thing really happens, you will be able to see the person you have always wanted to see. The person I wanted to see? Kyubi first had some doubts, then his eyes widens. You mean? Yes, that is the person I am talking about. Do you know about his whereabouts? He really hasn't died yet. Hearing this, Kyubi is a little excited. He can be considered still not dead. Who are you? How do you know these things? Kyubi's eyes stared at Kakashi, seemingly trying to find the answer. I am me, you should have seen me. I am the disciple of Minato-sensei. Kakashi looked straight at Kyubi's murderous look without fear. You're Yandame's disciple. Right, I remembered the Kushina kind of like you. The memory that is like a lockbox has emerged in an instant. While inside Kushina's body, Kyubi did see Kakashi. It was just that he didn't care at that time. He didn't expect Kakashi to have reached this level now. He can actually open Mangekyou Sharingan, even if he is not from a Uchiha clan. His talent is really terrifying. Even if it is a Uchiha clan member, there are very few of people who can open the Mangekyou Sharingan. I didn't expect you to develop Sharingan to such degree. Kyubi looked at Kakashi, then a mocking smile appeared on his face. Kakashi didn't care about it. He didn't care about what Kyubi's thought about him. He just continued to ask. How? Do you think you can accept my suggestion? Even if you are telling the truth, why should I get along with this little devil? Kakashi is helpless. This Kyubi is really stubborn. I can't use Mangekyou Sharingan to control him all the time. Let's not say that the chakra consumption is huge. Using it will cause hatred. How can there will be relationship between Kyubi and Naruto in the future if there is hatred? Can Naruto use 6 paths sage mode if that happened? Maybe when you know who your Jinchuriki is, you will change this idea. Who is it? Kyubi asked curiously. Don't you feel that Naruto's chakra's atmosphere feels a little familiar? Kakashi suddenly said something mysteriously. Chakra's atmosphere. Kyubi hearing this is also a bit curious. How can he is familiar with Naruto's chakra atmosphere? You should know that he has 2 sons. Kyubi was shocked again, and he understands that the teenager with silver-white hair in front of him seemed to know a lot of things. What do you want to say? Maybe you will understand the meaning of what I said after you carefully feeling Naruto's chakra's atmosphere. My time is almost up, I will leave here first. When Kakashi finished, his figure disappeared before the seal's space. You bastard. You should make it clear. Kyubi roared, but Kakashi did not hear him anymore. He has consumes a lot of power to get inside the seal, and if he goes on like this, there will be some kind of bad effects to his body. Seeing that Kakashi has already disappeared, Kyubi has no other way to vent his anger. That bastard, not finishing his talks is really annoying. Kyubi closed their eyes and seriously start to felt the little chakra left by Naruto. This does have a familiar feeling, as if I have seen it a long time ago. When was it? Suddenly, Kyubi widens his eyes in shock. It's him. Sure. Chapter 65 Training. After he is out of the Kyubi's seal, Kakashi re-sealed his Sharingan. This is the only thing I can do. Now let's see if Kyubi can agree to help Naruto. Knowing that Naruto is the reincarnation of Ashura, perhaps Kyubi can look after and help Naruto. As for how Kyubi thinks of him, Kakashi is not very concerned. After all, Kyubi was sealed inside Naruto's body. There is no way for him to tell anyone about Kakashi. In addition, with the arrogant nature of the Kyubi, how can he talk about these things with human? Then Kakashi cracked the Jinjutsu he applied to Naruto, and soon Naruto woke up. Where am I? Naruto stand up from the ground, and apparently he had no idea what had just happened. Are you awake? Naruto hearing this then looked at Kakashi. Shironai-chan, how did I fall asleep? Maybe you are too tired. Really? Well, I didn't sleep well last night. Naruto felt a little embarrassed as he touched his golden hair. Okay, you can try again. Kakashi wants to see if Kyubi is actually accepts his suggestion. If the Kyubi really accepts it, Naruto will definitely able to make some clones. Naruto hearing this firmly nodded and said, okay. I will succeed this time. His fingers intersect and his chakra starts to surges. Bang. The cloud of smoke appeared out of nowhere, and Naruto looked forward with anticipation. Then there is another Naruto from the smoke. Yeah. I succeeded. Hahaha, I know I can do it. Naruto put both of his hands at his waist while laughing loudly. Kyubi that his inside seal could not help but coldly snorted, and whispered, this temper is exactly the same as Ashura. Old man, I have waited too long. What is the real strength you said? The so-called guidance you told us, where is it? I hope this little devil can let me find the answer. After the murmur, the seal's space was filled in darkness again. Kakashi looks at Naruto who has successfully creates a clones. He then reveals a smile. Sure enough, Kyubi's feelings for Sage of Six Paths are very unusual. Now that Kyubi knows that Naruto is the reincarnation of Sage of Six Paths' son, maybe he will start to treat Naruto differently. Shironai-chan, look, I succeeded. Naruto said excitedly at Kakashi. He seems to wait for praise. Oh, well done. Well, I am very good. Yeah, that's right. Kakashi said as he ruffles Naruto's soft hair. Naruto is stunned, and then he showed a big smile. He felt really great. Naruto, there is something I need to tell you. Kakashi suddenly said. What? Naruto asked curiously. You can't use the ninjutsu that I teach to you until you graduate from the academy, unless it's for emergency. Why? Naruto asked with some doubts. It's not convenient to tell you now, but Naruto, can you promise me? Although doubtful, since Kakashi has spoken, Naruto naturally agreed. Okay, Shironai-chan, I will never use it. Ah, that's good then. The reason Kakashi does not let Naruto to use the ninjutsu is mainly because he doesn't want to change the plot too much. After all, the plot is Kakashi's only advantage. If Kakashi doesn't know about the future, he may make a lot of mistakes. If something did go wrong, he is afraid he will be in trouble. Then, I will teach you Taijutsu. Okay? When he heard Kakashi will teach him something else, Naruto naturally agreed with excitement. Up until now, Naruto finally felt the feeling of being recognized for the first time. And being taught something felt really good. Shironai-chan, it is great that I am able to meet you. Kakashi taught Naruto the most basic Taijutsu. After all, Naruto is still too young right now. He can't just practice advanced Taijutsu, so it's better for him to learn it step by step. In the afternoon, Kakashi taught almost all of the foundation about Taijutsu. Naruto now is gasping for air while sitting on the ground, apparently tired. Well, Naruto, can you still continue? Of course, yes. We continue, Shironai-chan. Naruto said that as he stands up from the ground, but he seemed to be a little reluctant. Kakashi is not a person who doesn't know how to be serious. Moreover, it is necessary to pay attention to the combination of work and rest when practicing this kind of thing. Otherwise, not only that he can't get the maximum effect of the training, but it will also cause some damage to his body. The gains do not make up for the losses. Okay, Naruto, don't be reluctant, let's end today training here. Yes, Shironai-chan. You have been practicing for an afternoon, so you must be hungry. Let's go eat. How about the extra large ramen? Kakashi said as he pats Naruto's head. Naruto's eyes immediately start to shine. Yeah. Having said that, Naruto hasn't eaten anything yet, but it is not because he doesn't want to eat, but it was because there is nothing to eat at all. Let's go then. Naruto and Kakashi then starts to go to Ichiraku Ramen. Welcome. Oh, it's Kakashi and Naruto. Tuchi-san, I am coming again. I want a large bowl of miso ramen. Naruto yells excitedly. Okay, but Kakashi, you didn't seem to pay for it yesterday. Tuchi said with a threatening expression. Kakashi was stunned. He recalled that he ran too fast yesterday and forgot to pay. Kakashi was embarrassed then said with a smile. I completely forgot about that thing. I am really sorry. I will make up for it today. Tuchi's expression then starts to return to usual after hearing this. Okay then. Naruto, wait a minute, I will make your ramen now. Okay, Tuchi-san. Naruto can't wait for it as he holds the chopsticks with his hand. Naruto, I need to go out for mission for a few days, so I can't teach you then. I will teach you again when I come back after the mission. The excitement on Naruto's face disappeared and he became a little sad. Well, don't be like that, I will come back soon. I understand, Shironai-chan. But when I am not there, you still need to train. I will check your progress when I come back. If I can't satisfy me, do not worry, Shironai-chan, I will definitely train every day. Looking at Naruto's firm expression, Kakashi smiled. That's great then. The ramen is coming. The extra large miso ramen is here. Where? Give it to me. Naruto looks at the big bowl of ramen in front of him, and he immediately starts to eat. Well, he is still noisy. I hope that he will get stronger from now on. Kakashi smiles as he thought that. Chapter 66 Team Assemble. The recent movements in Kurigakure is a bit, you should bring a few people with you to see what is going on. In the Hokage office, Sandaime said while smoking with his big pipe. Yes, Sandaime-sama. Sandaime then throws a glance toward Kakashi and asks. Right, Kakashi, did you meet with Naruto? Yes, I also taught him something. Kakashi also did not deny that. After all, Sandaime has always sent Anbu to protect Naruto's security, so he definitely knows Kakashi's meeting with Naruto. However, Kakashi did not intend to stop meeting Naruto. That is not a bad thing, so there is no reason to stop. What do you think about Naruto? Except for his golden hair and the blue eyes, he is not like Minato-sensei, but he is very similar to the Kushina Ni-chan. Haha, yeah, Naruto's temper is really like Kushina, and he really likes to yell. Sandaime said as there was a trace of remembrance in his eyes. Sandaime had looks after Kushina all that time, so he couldn't help but remember about her. Sandaime-sama, there is something I hope you can pay attention to. What is it? Asked Sandaime with some doubts. Naruto ostracized and resented by the villagers. I know that there is no way to stop it now, but I hope that Naruto's lifestyle can be guaranteed. I really don't want to see Sensei's child can't eat enough because of it. Anbu has a lot of missions. I can't take care of Naruto at all times, so I can only ask for your help, Sandaime-sama. Kakashi's sincere tone made Sandaime somewhat moved. Slightly sighed, Sandaime then said. Kakashi, this is my mistake. I have arranged these things before, but the implementation was deeply disturbed by many people for their own gains. Rest assured, this time, I will take care of all this myself. Thank you very much, Sandaime-sama. This is my responsibility. I am sorry that Minato's child has suffered a lot. Sandaime's face is filled with regret. Then I will go down to assemble my team and set off. Well, the sooner this thing is done, the better. Kurigakure is really weird recently. There's no news about them all this time, so I have to trouble you to check it. Yes, Sandaime-sama. After Kakashi finished talking, he disappeared with a smoke. Seeing Kakashi disappear, Sandaime then whispered. Yum. He then saw a thin shadow wearing an Anbu costume appears in front of him. Hokage-sama, what do you want me to do? Yum, it is about Naruto, you have heard it just now. From now on, you will be responsible for Naruto's funds and meals. Remember, don't let Naruto know about your existence. The shinobi named Yum hesitated but still replied. I understand, Hokage-sama. Good, you can go now. Yes. Looking at Yum who had disappeared in front of him, Sandaime then looked at the Hokage rock outside the window. Yondaime, it seems that I really failed you. After he leaves the Hokage office, Kakashi appeared in the locker room of Anbu's 16, and all of the members are there. New mission, we need to go to Kurigakure in the Land of Water to inquire about intelligence. I will lead this time, the 1-2 company are, Yugao, Tenzo, and Shisui. All the others should perform daily mission. Yes. Leader. You three, come with me. The 3 people hearing this went to another room with Kakashi. This time, our mission is far away. If we want to go to the Land of Water, we may even touch the defense line of Kurigakure. It is very dangerous. We have to do a good job, so we must prepare enough stuff for this. Prepare some rations for a month or more, as well as some ninja tools, do you understand? Understood, leader. The 3 people answered in unison. Okay, after an hour, we will gather in front of the Konoha gate, you can get ready now. Kakashi disappeared first. The other 3 then also disappeared and left the Anbu's base directly. Shisui clenched his fist as he gets back, to get ready and secretly thought, this is great. I just joined Anbu and now I'm going to do such an important mission. It looks like I will get a lot of experience from this. Shisui arrives at his home, and he quickly packs up the things he needed, and ready to go to the Konoha gate. Oh, isn't that? Suddenly, Shisui saw Itachi practicing hard in the woods. Hey, why are you here? Don't you know that you should take classes at the academy? Shisui. How are you here? Itachi asked doubtfully. There's a mission that needs me to leave the village, so I came back to pack up my things, and I am about to leave when I see you here. Shisui said with a smile. So it's like that. Itachi said as there were 5 kunai in his hands. He then throws those kunai at the moving targets in the distance. After that, he took out 5 kunai again and threw them, hitting all the original kunai. All of the 10 kunai then changed direction. All of them hit the core of 10 targets in different directions at the same time. Shisui seeing this applauded. It's really amazing. Your skill in shuriken jutsu has been trained to this extent. It's still not as good as yours, he said faintly. Oh, you are not cute at all. Say, why are you skipping classes? No, there's a clone that is taking the classes for me. Oh, but that is not good. If you think that the academy is too boring, you can apply for advanced graduation like me. Itachi looked at Shisui and then looked at the sky. He muttered, advanced graduation. Yeah, maybe then you can come to Anbu to accompany me. I need to tell you that my leader is Hada Kakashi, the super strong shinobi. Shisui said as he was showing off. Hada Kakashi? The outsider who got the Sharingan. Yeah, that's him. He was really amazing. He won against me without using Sharingan. Itachi's calm expression is shocked for a moment. He didn't expect Shisui to lose, and his opponent did not use Sharingan too. If you really lose, why did you say it with that kind of tone? Well, it's not a big deal. Shisui said as it was nothing. You're still the same as before. Otherwise, what else can I do? Well, I won't say much. I will go first. You can consider my suggestion. It is just a waste of time for you to learn at the academy. Shisui left here after he finished talking. Itachi looks at Shisui who has left and muttered, advanced graduation. Sure enough, it is better for me to do it than training alone like this. In front of the Konoha gate, Kakashi is early, Yugao then arrives after him, and Tenzo also has arrives. Senpai. Well, looks like Shisui's here. Kakashi senpai, I'm here now. At this time, Shisui finally arrived in front of the Konoha gate. Okay, now that all the members are here, we should go now. Yes. Okay guys, I hope enjoyed this part.